Ladies and gentlemen, it is Friday, November 14th, 2025, and here's what's coming up on the Owen Report today. Well, yesterday our theme was how MAGA had become a hilarious sitcom, and then overnight it became a suspenseful drama horror show. So we may lay out some of the facts that got us here today, but things are moving so fastly that we're already on to the Epstein files again. The news cycle moves so fast now that the Epstein files are back. Now, what do we think? Trump teasing the Epstein files, multiple posts about the Epstein files today. All of this as Trump's approval rating hits a record low and is tanking unlike anything we've seen in either of his presidencies. So, what do we think? Is it another distraction? Is it another tease? Is there another story going on? Or are the Epstein files now inevitable? The problem is, when you follow all the bouncing balls on this, the same inconsistencies remain. So, we'll be looking at that. Meanwhile, are we finally going to get some action as far as the Turning Point USA Berkeley left-wing terror attack? Well, Pam Bondi seems to be asleep at the switch. But the hero might be emerging. I think we now know if there is a leading candidate to replace Pam Bondi. I think we know who it is now. And so we'll be having that for you. You know, Trump helped spring a drug dealer from prison. And he got out. And the rest of the story is not so good. Not so good, folks. And then you've got the FBI making new X accounts to counter-signal Tucker Carlson. What? Last night I went to bed, and there was an X fact check on Tucker Carlson. And then when I woke up, the X fact check had been reversed and now backed up Tucker Carlson. And it was funny if you experienced this same thing. You go to bed last night and it's, oh, Tucker's been owned. Look, Tucker's dumb. You know, all the same people that have been attacking Tucker Carlson. And then you wake up this morning and it turns out Tucker was right. And then what did you hear from those people that were saying he got owned? What did you hear from them? Crickets. Nothing. Nada. We do have some other movements as far as justice is concerned. A big story on the Comey case. It's just embarrassing for the administration, quite frankly. An Arizona governor, a Democrat, facing a new investigation. The attacks on Matt Gaetz from that old story that they used to keep him out from becoming the attorney general, that's coming back into the news. I'll explain what's going on with that. Did Luigi Mangione's defense team just get a gift from the prosecutors? Did the prosecutors in the case just gift Luigi Mangione's defense team their out to win the case? This is crazy. We're talking potentially OJ 2.0. I do want to talk about January 6th a little bit more with some feedback I got last night. And if you're denying what's going on in MAGA right now, we've got more proof to show you what's really happening. I've got some Maha news. I've got some geopolitical news. We've got a guest coming on today, maybe two guests. And if we have time, since it's Friday, we will also try to take phone calls. All of that and more coming up on today's Owen Report.
This news update was brought to you by OwenSchroyer.store, the official site for Owen Report merchandise.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have to tell you about my friends at Allegiance Gold. And if you go to the site protectwithowen.com right now, they have a special offer for you that they want you to take advantage of. Let me ask you something. Are you the type who waits to be rescued or the one who protects your family before the storm hits? You're already seeing the cracks. The dollar buys less every month. Banks are showing stress, and this market is being propped up with printed money. It's not if it breaks, it's how prepared you'll be when it does. Here's what they don't want you to know. When the system starts cracking, the insiders quietly move first. We're already seeing it. That's why central banks, major institutions, and billionaires are piling into gold right now. And that's why I have partnered with Allegiance Gold. When paper markets burn or the market fails, gold and silver don't. They're yours. Not the government's, not the banks, not Wall Street's, yours. Allegiance Gold has been around for nearly a decade and is trusted by over 7,000 clients nationwide. Relationship-driven, A+ with the Better Business Bureau, 4.9 stars from real clients, transparent, and they focus on educating you first. Right now, they're offering up to $5,000 in free gold and silver with qualified investments. Whether through your 401k, IRA, or savings, they'll make it simple to move into something real before the next reset. So call 844-790-9191, 844-790-9191, or go to protectwithowen.com. That's protectwithowen.com. Protect your wealth and your freedom because no one else will.
On the cutting edge of news and analysis, the Owen Report with Owen Schroyer.
Well, it's moving fast here, isn't it? It's moving at light speed. You can barely keep up. You go to bed, and then you wake up, and the entire political world is different, it seems. That's how fast things are moving right now. And they don't seem to be slowing down. They only seem to be speeding up. The dividing lines seem to be more clear, and where people are going to end up at the end of this political earthquake on the right is also starting to become more clear. Now, I want to get right into the latest developments here with Trump's statements seemingly conflicting on the Epstein files just in the last couple of hours. And then we're also going to hear from Tim Burchett, who has been providing updates, Representative Tim Burchett, who's providing updates on this from the House. But see, when you're so embedded in the world of politics and you're able to maintain a web of data points, yes, imagine like the crazy guy on the board with all the pins and all the newspaper clippings and the pictures and everything else going crazy. That is kind of what it's like. But when you're embedded in the political world, and it's like that's how you're operating, you can see multiple things at once and then see how they're connected. So like imagine you got all these strings on the board, and when one of the data points moves over here, you can see all the different strings that move with it. So it's not just one data point or one string or point A to point B. You move that, and then there's a bunch of different strings that are moving. And you can see it. It's like, oh, okay, here's all the things that are moving right now with this same thing. And that's because they're all connected. So when you see all of these things happening at once, you know they're connected. And the people who are just being honest with themselves, the neutral observers, or the people that aren't politically biased, or they're not bought out, everybody can see what's going on right now. It's very clear. Now, they have different ways to scare you away from talking about it. They have different ways of intimidating you or deflecting or confusing you on what's going on, but everybody can see it. So we'll look at the small data points that are all moving at the same time, and then it's the bigger picture on the board. So you get this push for the new Israel funding bill. Yes, I know, folks, I know. We're all sick of it. I get it. But we're going to bring this one home because it's all going to be connected to Epstein. So obviously Israel's approval ratings are low. Pretty soon in American politics, not taking the AIPAC money is going to be what you have to do to win. And so this is all shuffling. This is all happening very fast. I predict Democrats start campaigning on that as soon as 2026, and that'll change everything. But putting that aside for now. So, oh, well, what do you know? Because this isn't the first time this has happened. Oh, here comes a foreign policy issue that's not popular. Here comes a foreign policy issue that is not popular with a president right now that is not popular. And so President Trump is sitting there watching his polling collapse. He doesn't want to do something that's going to make it worse. He doesn't want to do something that is going to hurt his tanking poll numbers. And even though you might say he's already a lame duck and he doesn't have to run and win another election, he still cares about the poll numbers. I think that. Maybe not. Maybe he doesn't, but I think he still does. I think he sees it. He's aware of it. At this point, there's no way he doesn't know what's going on. I mean, no amount of gatekeeping can keep this from the president. And I think that's why he keeps posting about the Epstein files. So what are you going to do? Your approval ratings are tanking, and now you got a foreign policy issue sitting right out there. Magically comes a little early. It's like, why are they doing it now? Why is Netanyahu doing media interviews in America now? Why are they pushing headlines calling a new Israel contract for 2028 America first? Why are they doing it now? Well, because all these data points are moving on the board. So, poll numbers tanking, unpopular foreign policy issue sitting there on the desk. Now it has to be addressed. Well, maybe Trump doesn't want to address it. Maybe Trump wants to go a different direction. Well, here come the Epstein files. Here come the Epstein files. And here come the emails. And with a wink and a nod. With a wink and a nod. Perfect timing. Right when this is all happening. I'm sure it's just a coincidence. I'm sure it's all just a coincidence. We're talking about tens of billions of dollars. And it's all happening at once. Oh, here come the Epstein emails damning Trump. Here's Trump's poll numbers taking. Here's an unpopular foreign policy issue. Oh, it's all happening at the same time. And where is the pressure being exerted? And where are they trying to block the path so that they can get through the hole? Oh, it's an America First foreign aid bill now. Oh, and now they got all of these people coming out saying, Israel just needs to stop taking foreign aid from America. Yeah, no crap. Why don't you just do it right now? And why don't you send us $30 billion back? No, it's not going to work. All right, well, you can stop taking the foreign aid today. No, that's not going to happen. You're going to get more foreign aid. You're going to do everything to get this bill. And if Trump is thinking about not renewing $20 billion, $30 billion, $40 billion, whatever it is that Israel's asking for, the new America First, $40 billion for Israel. If Trump is not feeling so inclined, well, maybe some more emails will come out. Maybe some more drawings will come out. Maybe some more personal letters will come out. And then you get Iran strikes. So you see, I'm just crazy, though. I know, I'm crazy. I'm crazy. That's what you're telling yourself. The poll numbers are real, folks. The poll numbers are real. And they're not good. And you can see right here, this is the worst. I think this is the worst it's ever been right here. And this has just happened. And you can see this is where the Doge and Iran fallout started right here. This is your intersection of Doge and Iran fallout. So Doge and Musk get ended for all intents and purposes. Doge and Musk get ended. And then we get Iran strikes. And then, as you see, we never look back. Disapproval became bigger than approval after those two instances. Now, if you recall, this is when the original MAGA, this is when the true MAGA, this is when the American patriots, original Trump supporters, winter warriors, true American patriots, this is when we first started to warn that things were going bad. This is when we first started to rip our hair out of our head and say, what are you doing? You got to go forward with Doge. What are you doing? You can't do Iran strikes right now. But we were called panicans. We were told we weren't wanted. And then it was the Epstein thing was a hoax. And then there was no going back. There was no going back. And I believe that would be represented right about here, was the Epstein is just a hoax phenomenon, was right about there. So Doge, Iran, fallout, that's when you first hit the point of no return. And then Epstein is just a hoax. That's when it just got out of control. And now you're just, I mean, look at the gap of approval and disapproval. These polls are real. Anywhere you go, you can find this out for yourself by just talking to people. And I've got more evidence that I present on this situation. But isn't it funny? We were the panicans. We were attacked. We were insulted. We were told we're not needed. Well, look at you now. Look at you now. So here's what Trump said. We got a couple statements from Trump. On Epstein, and they kind of seem to contradict one another. This was the first most recent statement. Wait a second. Let me see. Is that the first one? Yeah. This is the first one. The Democrats are doing everything in their withering power to push the Epstein hoax again, despite the DOJ releasing 50,000 pages of documents in order to deflect from all of their bad policies and losses. Yeah, the losses they just had this month. Especially the shutdown embarrassment. Yeah, the shutdown embarrassment isn't what you think it is either. Again, it's like, who is informing Trump on all of this? Where is he getting these bad opinions from? Where their party is in total disarray. Have you looked around the room lately, Mr. President? Have you looked around the room? Have you read the temperature lately, Mr. President? The party is in disarray. The party that's in disarray is the Republican Party. And I don't mean to get off base. I don't mean to get off base right now, but while this is on my head, I just have to say it. Folks, I've been saying this for a while. It's been apparent for a while, but now it's like we're all the way there. And I don't see us going back for a while, probably 4 years. The American right the American right has gone back 10 years intellectually. The American right has been set back 10 years philosophically, politically, and intellectually. And now you tune in to, let's say, mainstream right-wing news, which a year ago kind of sounded like, oh, okay. A year ago kind of sounded like what normal people are thinking. A year ago kind of sounded like what real news would sound like in the year 2024, 2025. Now we're just right back to nothing but slop. Now you're just right back to nothing but propaganda, 24/7, around the clock, slop. Worthless slop. It's really sad. And it's people that you like. It's people that you respect. It's people that you thought were bigger than that, better than that. And then now we're here and you're like, my God, you guys are still stuck. You're still stuck there. And in fact, I'm sorry to get off track. I got to do this right now. I'll get back to this post. Let me tell you what I see Let me tell you what I see happening, and I'm getting ahead of myself here, but I can't help it because if I don't say it now, I'll probably forget it. And many of you might see or feel that the same thing is happening. I think there's going to be a big event. Which seems to happen when Trump is president. You had the Las Vegas shooting. You had the COVID scamdemic, fake pandemic. Okay. But I think we're going to see a bigger event. I think it'll be closer to like 9/11 as far as the national interest is concerned and the national implications are concerned. It feels like that's the territory we're in. And now this is what you're going to see happen. And this is going to be when the dividing lines that we all kind of see that seem to just surround the issue of foreign policy, which is that's just the glaring issue where you see the dividing lines. But the dividing lines, if you really focus on it and see through the fog of it all, the dividing lines are really philosophical and intellectual in that some people are just right back to the mainstream and trusting everything. Some people are just right back to trusting everything they see on TV, trusting everything that they get out of the government. So God forbid, if this event happens, and they'll come out and they'll have their fake narrative, and this is when the dividing line will become permanent and the separation will complete. You're going to have people that fully believe it, fully buy into it, and say you're absolutely crazy if you don't. It's like the Charlie Kirk situation, except totally amplified to fill the whole screen. So it's like you look at the Charlie Kirk national interest and everything. It's like it's still kind of a smaller window in the panoramic image of American politics. It's still kind of down here in a smaller box. People in the political world and talking about it, for them it's big, but for most people it's the whole panorama of American politics. It's still down here. But you're already getting a taste for it there. It's like you have the people that believe what they're getting from the official narrative. You have the people that don't believe what they're getting from the official narrative. You have the people that are questioning the narrative, and then you have the people that are questioning you for questioning the narrative. If there's a big event with 9/11 style national interest, that will be the final split. That will be the right going like when a cell splits, it's going to go like, that'll be it. That'll be the separation. Now, here's the difference. When September 11th happened, most people still believed the mainstream news. Most people still trusted the mainstream news, the government even. So the people that questioned September 11th, or the people that didn't believe the official narrative of September 11th, was still kind of an outcast group and really so sidelined from the mainstream that really they didn't even have to be addressed. You didn't even have to address it. So it'd be like nobody talking about Candace Owens right now covering the Charlie Kirk assassination. That's what it was like after September 11th. Imagine nobody talking about Candace Owens and her coverage of the Charlie Kirk assassination. Well, of course, everybody is now. It's like the top story every day, constantly trending. So that shows you, if there is a big event, mass casualty, God forbid, terroristic, whatever it is, if there is a big event and they come out and they give us some BS narrative and they come out and they play the same propaganda games against us, this isn't going to be like September 11th. Now you're going to have a very serious battle for where the majority of minds are at. And you could talk about for the entire political spectrum, but even specifically on the right, you're going to have a battle. It's going to be close. I don't know. I don't know where the majority of people on the right wing will fall, but it's not going to be like September 11th. And then what's going to happen? Oh, you're crazy. You don't trust the government. Just imagine all the things that we're seeing with Tucker Carlson being attacked or Candace Owens being attacked. Imagine that 100 times, full focus, full amplification, full screen picture. And then that will be maybe the first time we get to see, okay, How far are we really? Are the majority of people on the right wing still brainwashed? Are the majority of people on the right wing still under hypnosis? Are the majority of people on the right wing still conditioned? Or have we broke the conditioning? Have we snapped out of the psychosis? Have we beaten the brainwashing? COVID was kind of a first test of this. But this will be the big one. This will be the big one. So anyway, as I get off track, let's go back. All right, Trump, embarrassment, shutdown, blames the Democrats, claims their party is in disarray. No, the right is in disarray, and has no idea what to do. It sounds like you're describing the Republicans here. The party that's in total disarray and has no idea what to do. That sounds like this party. That sounds like this administration, quite frankly, but okay. Some weak Republicans have fallen into their clutches because they are soft and foolish. Oh, here we go. Epstein was a Democrat, and he is the Democrats' problem, not the Republicans' problem. Ask Bill Clinton, Reid Hoffman, and Larry Summers about Epstein. They know all about him. Don't waste your time with Trump. I have a country to run. Now, look. Let's just respond to this neutrally and fairly. There's no doubt that Clinton and the like were probably more into whatever was going on at Epstein Island than Donald Trump ever was. That's fair. But for Donald Trump to act like he wasn't friends with Jeffrey Epstein, that's just an insult to my intelligence, Mr. President. Okay? So I'm not declaring you guilty of anything. But when you try to gaslight me and insult my intelligence like, oh, yeah, you didn't know Epstein at all, it's not a Trump problem. Sorry, Mr. President, but I beg to differ. And the more you try to gaslight us and the more you call it a hoax, the bigger a Trump problem it becomes. It didn't have to be a Trump problem. It didn't have to be a Trump problem at all. Who's ever leaking this stuff into the press to make you look bad, that sounds like a different issue. That sounds like a transactional issue that you're having with somebody. But this doesn't have to be a Trump problem. But now that you're calling it a hoax and pretending like, oh, you never knew the guy, now it's becoming a Trump problem. And when your campaign and your FBI director and your FBI deputy director and your attorney general all talked about the Epstein client list and how important it was, well, you're kind of pivoting on it. So now it is a Trump problem. So, okay. Perhaps that didn't go so hot. So then he released this statement. Now that the Democrats are using the Epstein hoax involving Democrats, not Republicans, to try and deflect from their disastrous shutdown and all of their other failures, I will be asking Attorney General Pam Bondi and the Department of Justice, together with our great patriots at the FBI, to investigate Jeffrey Epstein's involvement and relationship with Clinton, Summers, Reid, Hoffman, J.P. Morgan, Chase, and many other people and institutions to determine what was going on with them and him. This is another Russia scam with all arrows pointing to the Democrats. Records show that these men and many others spent large portions of their life with Epstein and on his island. Stay tuned. It really sucks that you're putting us in this position, Mr. President. Because the facts are, in the new database, your name shows up more than all those names. That's just a fact. Again, I'm not saying you're guilty of anything, but that's a fact. Okay? And if this is really a Democrat issue, then why are we holding it back? So is it a hoax or is it a Democrat issue? I'm trying to figure this out. Is it a hoax or is it a serious issue that a former president was spending much of his life with a known pedophile sex trafficker? Which one is it, Mr. President? This is gaslighting from top to bottom. This is literally at the beginning of gaslight and at the end of gaslight. So it's a hoax, but it's also a big deal because the Democrats and the former president were rubbing elbows with a massive pedophile. Which one is it, Mr. President? Now, you could see this and maybe you could read it that, okay, they're going for full transparency. They're going to give us the client list, and maybe we'll see what follows after that. Now, do you believe that? Is this the boy that cried wolf? We've been here before, mind you. We've been here before. Remember the big grand jury? Remember that deal? Yeah, that was a nothing burger, as everybody knew it would be. A nothing burger. And I remember, now, interestingly enough, if you kind of want to, if we're measuring the pulse of MAGA here too, let's measure the pulse of MAGA. When Epstein became the big issue, after Trump first called it a hoax and then insulted the people for questioning it, remember what happened. They came out in response to try to quiet the crowds. They came out in response, and they said, look, Trump is doing it. Look, Trump is giving us the Epstein files. Look, the president is fulfilling his promises. Promises made, promises kept. Best president. See, shut up, panicking. See, you're all wrong. And, okay, so you remember there's a huge buzz. There was a huge buzz. There was a huge pushback. They were waving the flags. They were waving the pom-poms. They were doing the leg kicks. They were doing the dances in the end zone. Yeah, they were spiking the football, and they were rubbing it in your face. They were rubbing it in your face because you weren't MAGA anymore, and they were, and they proved you wrong. See, we're getting the grand jury. See? And then they got nothing. And then they got nothing. Well, notice how you don't really get that response today. Yeah. Notice all of the MAGA cultists that insulted you for worrying that the Epstein case was going to get covered up. Remember, they were insulting you, and then the grand jury came out, and they were rubbing it in your face and smashing egg on your face and serving you up some crow. They were real loud and boisterous then. And then, of course, they had zero. They didn't deliver anything. So where are they now? I don't hear them. Isn't that strange? I don't hear them trying to feed us crow. I don't see them trying to smash an egg in our face. Isn't that interesting? So who's really losing confidence, guys? Who's really losing confidence? Where's that confidence from the grand juries? Where's that confidence you guys had? Where is it? I don't hear you. So who's really losing confidence? Who's really deflating right now? Who's really losing altitude right now? Well, it would seem to be you. It would seem to be you. Now, there's another angle potentially here. Launch an investigation, and then whenever somebody tries to get information, you get to hide it because it's currently under investigation, which is a common practice for this administration, to launch an investigation so that then when people try to FOIA or try to get movements in Congress, they say, sorry, we can't. It's an active investigation. It's a perfect way to cover it up. Now, okay, so there's Trump. Oh, it's the Democrats. The Democrats are doing this. The Democrats are using this against me. It's the Democrats. Well, here's Representative Tim Burchett. Okay? And here's what he's saying. I tried to release the Epstein files today, but the Democrats blocked it. Let's hear what he says.
Hey everybody, Tim Burchett in Washington, D.C. today, of course, trying to open up the government, but I tried to make them release the Epstein files, and I was blocked by the Democrats. This is all gamesmanship, folks. It's not about releasing the files. If they had something on Trump, they would have released it. Biden had it for 4 years, and they hate Trump more than anything in the world. And so now they blocked it, and so they can piecemeal the truth and the half-truths, both sides, of what really went down with Epstein. And it's kind of disgusting, really. But, well, I tried. That's all I can tell you.
It is disgusting, Representative Burchett. We're with you on that. If it doesn't add up, you know it's corrupt. It's another one of the slogans I want you guys to etch into the ethos of the digital sphere. If it doesn't add up, you know it's corrupt. Well, this doesn't add up. So Trump says the Democrats are pushing for the Epstein files. And then Tim Burchett says the Democrats are blocking the Epstein files. So which one is it? If it doesn't add up, you know it's corrupt. Whole thing is a joke. The whole thing is a pathetic joke. How's the swamp doing, guys? How's the deep state doing? You know, I was thinking about this last night. I'm thinking, it's like, how do I... Because we're trying to break the conditioning, all right? You know, we've gone through these political battles. We've had these political turf wars, the ideological battles, the philosophical battles, the historical battles. It's, you know, we've been slanging. And so now we're here, and it's like, all right, we're right back where we started. The teams have realigned, and the numbers are different, but it's like, all right, here we are right back where we started. And so it's like, okay, now we kind of have to go back. If we want to be effective, it's like, okay, now we have to go back and remember, what did we do? How did we increase our numbers? How did we start the awakening? How did we break the conditioning? How did we get here? All right, they're back into the brainwashing from 10 years ago. All right, we're seeing it. The establishment right, Con Inc., all of it, mainstream news, it's like they just went back 10 years now. So it's like, how do you break this conditioning? How do you snap these people out of their psychosis? And I'm thinking, all right, you got to go with something popular. You got to go with something common sense. And then you wait for the response. So I'm just like, all right, look, what is something that everybody should be in agreement with? What is something that shouldn't even be up for debate? And it's pretty obvious. If this administration, at the very least, cannot call in Alejandro Mayorkas for congressional hearings on the invasion of this country, if this attorney general, if this FBI, if this Department of Justice, if this administration cannot launch an investigation into Alejandro Mayorkas for high crimes, sedition, and yes, treason, then what are we doing? This is the easiest thing on the board. Did Alejandro Mayorkas facilitate an invasion of this country of 15 million people? Did Alejandro Mayorkas facilitate criminals, including murderers and rapists and child molesters and violent offenders? Did Mayorkas not facilitate that into our country? Did Mayorkas not aid and abet in an invasion, a criminal invasion of this country? Yes or no? If this administration cannot, at the very least, haul his ass in front of Congress, and if this DOJ cannot launch an investigation against Mayorkas, are we really doing anything? Are we really doing anything? So then ask, if they can't do that, then what are they doing? Is there anything? It's like, I'm trying to snap these people out of the cult, right? It's like, go back 10 years. What are we trying to do? We're trying to snap you out of the cult. Somebody asked me the other day, they said, do you see the radical left and the radical right are the exact same? Do you see that now? And I said, I disagree. I think they behave the same. I think right now they are behaving the same. We're seeing them behave very similarly, if not the exact same. But I think it's different. I think the radical left, I think that they want to engage in debauchery. I think the radical left are not decent people. I don't think they want to be decent people. I think the radical right, to an extent, they actually think they're the good guys. I think the radical right, to an extent, there is some human decency there. And they actually think they're fighting bad guys or Nazis or something. That's the difference I see. So I'm going back 10 years. It's like, how do I snap you out of this? How do I break your conditioning? How do I break you out of this psychosis that you're in? You're in a mind control psychosis, brother. And we did it 10 years ago. So it's like, how do we do it? So it's like, okay, to the MAGA cultist out there, to this new Trump cult that is protecting all of this disastrous policy, this disastrous administration, is there anything, this is a genuine question, Is there anything where there's a line in the sand for you? Is there anything where I can point to and I can say, okay, if this doesn't happen, are you allowed to criticize now? Like, if this doesn't happen, are you at least willing to open your mouth and say something? And I feel like that's the one. It's Mayorkas. Mayorkas is probably the biggest traitor to this country ever. And how am I going to sit here and hear about all the victims, including the fatal victims? How am I going to sit here and hear about all of this stuff from this administration and nobody's going to go after Mayorkas? And nobody's going to go after the fundraisers and the organizers that brought the murderers in, that raped and killed multiple American women and children? So I'm just asking, guys. I'm just asking. Whatever is left of MAGA, I'm sorry. I won't even call you a cult. I'm going to be nice. I apologize. I'm trying to be nice here. I'm trying to be nice. I'm genuinely asking you guys. Because obviously you guys are seeing it now too. I get it. You're wearing the hat. You're waving the pom-poms. You're having fun. Maybe you've got some access. Maybe you built your entire personality, your entire persona online. Your entire brand is now MAGA and Trump. So it's kind of scary now that maybe he's not that great, but that's your whole personality. So it's like you're kind of conflicted on what to do. I get it. I get it. So I'm just asking you. All right, I'll cut the insults. You cut the. I'm just asking you. Is there anything? Is there any issue? Is there any line in the sand that I can point to and say, okay, what about this? Can we all agree on this? And if you don't get any action here, it's like, all right, fine. Debate the Epstein files. Debate the foreign policy. Debate the H-1Bs. All right, debate it. Fine. We'll debate it. I feel like Mayorkas is undebatable. And if they're not willing to go after Mayorkas, then is anybody here serious? So I'm just asking whatever is left of MAGA and the Trump pom-pom waivers. And I'm not trying to be mean, but everybody knows who you are, and everybody knows who you don't like anymore, including me. So I'm just asking you, is there any line in the sand that we can come together and say, okay, can we at least demand action here? And if we don't get it, are we allowed to complain? Is there anything, or is there no complaints allowed? Is that how deep into this cult we are? No complaints allowed. No question anything. It's a genuine question. It's a genuine question. Because I'm seeing you guys here believing complete nonsense. I'm seeing you guys here pushing fake news. I'm seeing you guys fall for the same propaganda techniques that the left just fell for 8 years. And now I'm watching you become more filled with hate and vitriol than I've ever even seen from the left. So I'm just asking, is there anything? Can we at least agree if this administration doesn't take action against Mayorkas, then this is pathetic, and we're wondering, is anybody here serious? Is there anybody that has hurt the country more than Mayorkas? And we're sitting here responding to a crisis. We got like 1 million out of what, 15 million he brought in deported? Now, I think I know who the next attorney general should be. Pam Bondi is, I don't know, what does a Pam Bondi approval rating look like right now? What do you guys think? How's a Pam Bondi approval rating look? Probably not so good. Yeah. Even at that, I will say that is one where the Trump cheerleaders, they don't like Bondi. So that is one deal we all agree on. So there is one thing we agree on. Nobody likes Bondi. Everybody thinks Bondi's a failure. So, maybe we can get some action on Bondi. I think I know who the next should be, though. I'll have that coming up here in a second. Hey, I hope things don't get so bad that they collapse, but people are starting to get concerned, ladies and gentlemen, especially with the markets. And ever since COVID, millions of Americans have started buying preparedness supplies, especially emergency food. Now, this is a good thing. You got to have insurance you can eat. But there's a big mistake people make with their emergency food supply. They don't have any way to cook it when there's an emergency and the power goes out or the grid is down. That's why our friends over at My Patriot Supply created their Black Friday Survival Special. It comes with a 4-week food supply plus $150 worth of free gifts, including everything you need to prepare your emergency meals, like a cook stove, fuel, and fire starters, plus a water purifier, bug-out bag, and more. It's the complete survival kit your family needs to ride out natural disasters, civil unrest, or anything worse. It also makes a great Christmas gift. But it's only available through Black Friday. So what? You got a little bit more than a week left here. So head to mypatriotsupply.com/Owen and check out everything that's included. With all the uncertainty in the world right now, we simply can't afford to be unprepared. So go to mypatriotsupply.com/Owen and get prepared. That's mypatriotsupply.com/Owen. And if you haven't done anything, if you haven't checked this off your box of things to do as far as emergency preparedness is concerned, folks, this is a great way. This is a great way to start with it. A great starter kit here, a survival special. If you have not checked this box off at all for your house, a great way to do it right now at mypatriotsupply.com/Owen. So, who should the next Attorney General be? I personally nominate Harmeet Dillon. And I think she could get passed. She's already in there. Now, she's a Bondi loyalist, so I don't know. There might be a conflict of interest for her, but she's trying. Were you at or around the TPUSA Berkeley event Monday, November 10th? The FBI San Francisco is seeking digital evidence to support the federal investigation. Help us find the bad guys. Harmeet Dillon. So Dillon is trying her best as the assistant to the Attorney General. She's trying her best, but she can't do it all, folks. She can't do it all. Okay, did you hear about this? This is a yikes factor times 10. Oh, boy. LI drug dealer freed by Trump, now convicted of molesting his kid's nanny and threatening synagogue congregant. Oh, boy. A Long Island drug dealer sprung from prison by President Trump has now been convicted of sexually abusing his kid's nanny and threatening a congregant at his synagogue. Now, folks, again, if things don't add up, you know it's corrupt. So we're literally bombing. We're literally blowing up drug dealers in the Gulf of America as we're freeing drug dealers in the United States of America. Come on, guys. Can we stop? Can we stop? If logic can't be applied universally, it's not logic, it's propaganda. If things don't add up, you know they're corrupt. This doesn't add up at all, folks. This logic is not applied universally. And I've got more of this coming up when we get to the Maha news on the desk today. But there you go. We're freeing drug dealers. Trump is freeing drug dealers while he's blowing up drug dealers in the Gulf of America. Somebody make sense of this. Jonathan Braun landed a 27-month sentence in Brooklyn for violating the terms of his presidential pardon with fresh crimes. This is a pardon from Trump before he left office. So right before Trump left office, he pardoned this guy. And now he's being accused of, what was it again? He's been convicted. I'm sorry. He's now been convicted of sexually abusing his kid's nanny and threatening a congregant at his synagogue. I can't even. So yeah, how do we do? What do we do with drug dealers? Does this guy deserve the death sentence? If he was on a boat in the Gulf of Mexico, he'd get the death sentence. But he got pardoned and now he's back in jail. Does he get the death sentence? Does he get a bomb from the Coast Guard or from a military satellite? I mean, where do they come from? I don't know. Send him out to the Gulf of America. We'll see what happens. My administration is taking drug dealers very seriously. And that's right. You try to deal drugs in this country, we're going to blow you up. You saw the videos, blew them up, sky high, tiny bits and pieces, burning in the Gulf of America, blowing them up. Yes, Mr. President, what about the drug dealer that you pardoned and then got arrested again? Not him. Not him. No, not him. He's fine. Maybe we'll pardon him again. We like him. That's a drug dealer we like. Not those other guys. Ah, yeah. Oh, you guys don't like my Harmeet Dillon proposal? Well, too bad. Oh, we'll see if DMT wants to come on. He's the radical right threats against him that are crazy have kind of backed him off of coming on air a little bit, but we'll see. Maybe we'll pressure him into it today. He really doesn't like Harmeet, apparently. You can see about that. So it would appear this FBI rapid response team here was formed just to counter signal Tucker Carlson. Now, I don't want to spend too much time on this, but even Miranda Devine is coming out and saying this is pathetic. Now, Miranda Devine, pretty renowned reporter from the New York Post. I don't know if you would say a household name, but for people that are really into politics, she's a household name. She's one of the top writers, top reporters, New York Post, goes on TV a lot. And, she's been very much positive. She's very much a positive force for this administration. I don't know if I would go as far as to call her a pom-pom waver, but, she's kind of probably more in that category than not. And even she is coming out here and saying how bad this is. Even Devine is coming out here and saying how pathetic this is. But this is what I was talking about. So what happens is, folks, this thing is just crashing and burning so huge. But so they come out and they try to do this fact check on Tucker Carlson on the Thomas Crooks situation. And so the FBI does this deal on a Tucker Carlson report about Thomas Crooks having no digital footprint. And then they say, oh, this is a lie. He does, blah, blah, blah. And then they somehow get a fact check from X saying, yeah, Tucker Carlson is wrong, whatever. So I go to bed. This all happens last night. Then I go to bed. I wake up. The fact check has been reversed. The fact check says, nope, Tucker Carlson is right. And then all of the evidence is presented that shows the FBI, including Dan Bongino, at the time, saying that this guy has no digital footprint. It makes no sense. And it seems this whole account, FBI Rapid Response Account, it seems this whole thing was put on X to counter-signal Tucker Carlson. And even Miranda Devine, who's very, very pro-administration, very pro, doesn't like to do negative administration stuff, even she sees this and says it's pathetic. And she's right, by the way. I've got a couple other legal news stories in front of me, but let me do this ahead of the guest coming up, because we're going to talk about the true state of MAGA with Ivan Raiklin. And let me just give you two examples before we bring Ivan on for the second hour. Now, this is going to be interesting. So Mark Levin, I'll play this clip. It's I have a feeling this is going to be like a nothing. This is going to be like a zero when things continue this way. But so this is Levin taking calls on his radio show, and I guess the Groypers are getting in there now. Let's take a listen.
Brainwashing, which is what Professor Ellis was just talking about.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for your call, my friend. And by the way, I know you're a young person. I know a few young people myself. We call them our kids. Right, Mr. Producer?
I've always found the Mr. Producer bit to be extremely condescending.
Good calls. Nonetheless. Well, let's see if we can slip in one more here. Timothy, Dallas, Texas, on the Mark Levin app. Go right ahead, please.
Hi, thanks for taking my call. I
sir.
appreciate you reading the quote from your book at the beginning of the show, and I think it ties into what the governor had to say. and that is there is this alliance in between Nick Fuentes and the Groypers and Scoopity Whoop Poop Poopy Scoopty Whoop Poop.
That's very
whoop,
funny.
Poop.
And the guy hangs on. How long has he been on hold?
It is kind of funny.
Guy's been on hold like an hour or two.
That's
Hey, you know what? What? I'm going to tell the Mark Levin show there is this alliance between the Groypers and Scoopity-Doo and Scoopity-Doo. And you know what? I could have cut that out, but I wanted you to hear it. I'm sure his family is very proud of him.
All right, so let me let me explain something before I show you the next bit of evidence here. And that's not really a strong piece, but what I'm telling you is I guess, you know, I think generationally, because when I was young, I was a big fan of talk radio, and I liked calling into talk radio. It was a thrill. It was a thrill for me when I was young to get to call into talk radio and talk to the host and then, you know, try to hear your voice on the radio. It was a thrill for me. I like doing that. But that's kind of like a lost thing. I don't know. Do young kids call in to radio shows so much? It's kind of rare. I take a lot of calls. And it's mostly people probably above 30. I think it's pretty rare I get calls from people in their 20s. It's not that it never happens. It does. We know some of our younger callers. But it's rare to get a caller in the 20s. If these young people, so imagine what you see on X, you know, ratioing on X. If these young people figure out phone lines and talk radio, game's going to change. The game is going to change. Now, you listen to my show. You try calling into my show. You know it's hard to get in. It's hard to get in here. It was hard to get in when I was at InfoWars. But I can tell you, I bet you it is not hard to get on the Mark Levin show. It's probably harder to get on C-SPAN. But if the young kids that are getting politically active in the digital world, if they figure out phone lines and that they can call into these shows, it'll be unstoppable. It'll be unstoppable. And I almost think now it's inevitable. And then what is Mark Levin going to do? Stop taking calls? Is Mark Levin going to be forced to stop taking calls? Which will be hilarious. Because I don't know what Mark Levin is going to do if he can't take calls. He can't entertain you for 2 hours. He only talks about one thing now. He can't entertain you. He just screams and talks about a foreign country all day. If he can't take calls, what is he going to do? And if the phone lines get overwhelmed with people that want to troll him, he's going to have to shut them down. So this is an opening. I guess I'm kind of sending a clarion call out there to young people. Hey, if you think the ratioing on X and the trolling on X and all of that is fun, start figuring out the phone lines for these talk shows. Start figuring out these phone lines. Then you'll really have some fun. And I'm guaranteeing you it's not that hard to get on. And when Levin says, oh, he's been holding for an hour, yeah, that's because they don't do call segments. They have phone lines, and then they put you on hold, and they don't even take your call. So it's like when I open the phone lines, I'm taking calls. They just open the phone lines. He just doesn't take calls. So I don't think he's waiting for an hour because there's a line of calls. He's waiting for an hour because Levin isn't taking the calls. I'm telling you, if they start to discover call-in lines on these shows, oh, yeah, that's going to be fun. That's going to be fun. All right, I want to play this now, and then we're going to go to the guest. And I'm showing you one of these videos. These videos are everywhere. Okay? These videos are everywhere. And it's Trump supporters that are really upset. We'll just say it like that. They're really upset. I hear this a lot. I get messages a lot. I mean, I could read messages on air. I am going to read some messages today from some other January 6th defendants. Because I got reached out to by a couple of January 6th defendants, some big profile ones, and then some lesser profile ones that were appreciative of me talking about it Some are willing and ready to go public. Some aren't yet. But they can use me as an outlet. So I am going to be reading some message from January 6ers on this. We'll do that later, or maybe when Ivan comes on. But this is where people are at. This is the original heart of MAGA that is disenfranchised and upset at the direction this administration is heading. It's organic. It's real. It's not bots. It's not foreign influence. It's none of that. That's all a lie. This is very real stuff. And anybody that exists in the real world knows this is real.
I saw Trump be booed at the football game the other day, and honestly, dude, it made me kind of sad. Like,
and again, men under 40,
people don't realize how much I love Donald Trump. Like, if you talk to my friends, even years ago, they would have told you that my favorite person in the world, other than Jesus, was Donald Trump. For years, I used to drive around Portland with Trump stickers all over my truck, and they would get scratched off every week, and I would put on new Trump stickers. Like, I believe that he was different, dude. And he used to walk into UFC fights or football games or baseball games or whatever, and the whole crowd would just erupt, and it was just beautiful to see. And now, dude, just everything has changed. Like, Donald Trump had the ability to be the best president of all time. He could have closed the borders, stopped all the woke nonsense, and locked up some politicians. Tried to cut down the cabal a little bit. But he's just not who we thought he was, dude. And to me, it was a very sad realization. Like, my family, my friends are still huge Trump people, but I see the world through a spiritual lens now, and what I'm seeing just doesn't look good.
Now, let me follow that up with one more thing before we close out the first hour and get the guest on. That's representative of most men under 40 now that supported Trump, and the poll numbers show it. But I want to explain one more thing here to just really encapsulate this phenomenon that's happening right now. You notice he's very calm. He's not upset. This isn't like X, folks. This isn't like X where it gets really hot. It gets really intense. It's a little vitriolic at times. I talk to people. They're just normal people. They're calm. They're just like, oh yeah, man, Trump kind of went sideways on us, huh? I was like, hey man, yeah, I really supported Trump, but I guess he kind of sold us out, huh? It's just normal conversation. We're just talking. That's what it's like. That's how most men under 40 feel now. Specifically men that voted for Trump. And so, you can believe whatever you want to believe. But don't doubt me on this. That's where most men under 40 that supported Trump are at now. And it's only getting worse. And I'll tell you one more thing. A lot of people have been holding back. They've been holding back. They've been patient. They've been hopeful, whatever. They've been waiting. But the dam's about to break. The dam's about to break, folks. And maybe this whole Epstein drama can keep that dam up just a little bit. But if they fail again, I think the dam breaks, and I don't know what happens next. That's when I get into a big event. That's when I can get into a big event coming. First hour in the books. Guest coming up next.
You're listening to the Owen Report on the Win Network.
So yesterday, if you were listening, we had a caller call in talking about the official coffee of the Owen Report, and that is Blackout Coffee. Go to blackoutcoffee.com/Owen and find out all about their premium coffees and get 20% off with coupon code Owen on your first order. 20% off with coupon code Owen on your first order. Now, if you're like me, you like a dark roast, and they've got multiple options for the dark roast lovers. They've got the 5-star rated Brutal Awakening dark roast. They've got the 5-star rated Pitch Black Espresso dark roast. That's my favorite, by the way. And where is my last dark roast? There it is. The 5-star rated 1776 dark roast. So those are my preferred. And yes, they do come ground. You can also get whole bean if you like to grind your own coffee. If you want it even fresher, you can go ground or whole bean. They give you your option there. So those are my favorite brews when I want to put a pot of coffee for my house on the coffee maker. But when you're in a rush, nothing beats the instant coffee. Nothing. The premium instant coffee. It's not like most instant coffees out there, folks. Tastes watered down. It really doesn't even taste like coffee. It just doesn't work. Not Blackout instant coffee. In fact, it's so good, you may consider replacing going with the pot of coffee ever again. That's how good the premium instant coffee is. Don't doubt me on that. Also, 5-star reviews. Go to blackoutcoffee.com/Owen, the official coffee of the Owen Report. Use coupon code Owen, and you will get 20% off your first order. Oh. Did you see Olivia Nuzzi in the news again today? Nobody knew she had it like that. When it came out that I guess she was having a fling, or she claimed she was in some sort of a romance with RFK. And then they came out with this story today, Olivia Nuzzi. Olivia, I got to tell you, though, I didn't know you had it like that. I didn't know. I was underestimating your game. I was disrespecting your game, Olivia. I had no idea that you were built like that. So I say good for you. Well, she's claiming she has this love streak or whatever with RFK Jr. And she's reporting, who published this story? In the New York Times. Olivia Nuzzi did it all for the love. And he did it all for the nookie. Olivia Nuzzi did it all for the love. RFK Jr. did it all for the nookie. And we get it. The former political journalist has written a combustive portrait of America, President Trump, and the scandal with RFK Jr. that upended her career. Upended? Upended? Wait. Upended? Whoa. Whoa. You can't talk about Olivia Nuzzi and RFK Jr. upending. That is not. Come on, guys. So in the story, she claims that he's into DMT and psychedelics. And I said, cool. All right, joining me now, Ivan Rakelin, the Deep State Marauder. And Ivan, you're hanging out in the swamp. I'm surprised you aren't drowning. I thought, we were trying to drain it. Now the water seemed to be higher than ever. So are you just treading water in the swamp, or what's going on?
I'm reporting here at global headquarters of the Department of Retribution. I hear a little feedback.
Here, let me try to help that. Hold on. I got you. Try it now.
Check. There you go. Perfect.
I got you. I got you. I apologize. The sound guy here sucks. I'm the sound guy, by the way.
Okay. Yeah. So reporting from Department of Retribution Global Headquarters, and apparently, I didn't think that this administration would be blocking accountability and retribution. So now we have to factor that into our analysis to be able to actually hold people to account, which goes into your question of, is the swamp being drained or is it being restocked?
Yeah. Well, I saw this. I only pulled this story up today to remind me to read something that I got. I got some messages from January 6ers last night and tonight and some phone calls because I covered it yesterday. How January 6ers, I'd say like, I was trying to get a measurement of it, but I'd say the approval rating right now for this administration from the January 6th community is at best 20%, maybe even 10%. Yeah, I was going to 20 might be high. I'd say 10% might be closer. I mean, maybe zero, but it's not zero yet. There are still people that are kind of clinging, but they're kind of wavering. They're clinging to whatever hope they have left. But I had the story up just to remind me to read these statements I got. FBI throws cold water on story suggesting Capitol Police officer was January 6th pipe bomber. I felt like we might have been getting ahead of that. That's why I never really covered it. But nonetheless, January 6ers are feeling very disenfranchised right now. And if there's any justice or retribution, as you put it, that needs to be had, I think it's for the political prisoners that suffered. 6 of them committed suicide. Multiple of them missed the birth of their first child. Multiple of them missed the death of loved ones and family members. Where are we at?
So let's face it. I mean, to remind the audience, you are a January 6er, okay? You were politically persecuted and prosecuted by the same institution that went after the J6ers. Because let's face it, the only reason why they went after you is because they got you based on that Capitol grounds jurisdictional hook, meaning Nancy Pelosi, right? So they targeted political opponents, you, all January 6ers. And until our institutions are filled with unvaccinated January 6ers, not unvaccinated, critical thinkers that refuse to comply with the unlawful, unsafe, and ineffective jabs, okay? I'm talking about all of the DOJ and the FBI and the White House and all of our institutions must be filled with January 6ers, those that got kicked out of the military or the government due to their refusal to comply with an unlawful order. Nothing changes. So Dan Bongino is a proudly vaxxed individual, right?
Well, I don't know. He's not proudly vaxxed, but he was vaxxed. He regrets it now, but yeah.
Okay, he regrets it. Kash Patel is like, when you ask me the question on whether or not I'm vaxxed or not, you're probably vaxxed yourself. So I'm going to sell you some snake oil products to make sure that you don't get any sort of DNA mutilation further into your bloodstream. When you do a search on every time he was asked about it, that's his literally boilerplate response.
So he probably
made money off of it.
Well, yeah, but
vax, right?
Trump doesn't want any negative headlines about the vax. He loves the vax.
Yeah, because he's how many boosters is he on?
Well, he claims he's taking them. I don't know if I believe it.
At least 2. I mean, I take him for his word, right? And so if his word is he's going to take the boosters, he's going to go ahead and endorse the Democrat COVID criminals.
Do you still take Trump at his word? I can't tell if you're being facetious there or not.
Well, no. I'm gonna lay out taking him for his word. So when he says he's all about the vax and the boosters, it's pretty clear that he believes that, because next thing you know, right, he endorses Democrat COVID criminal Andrew Cuomo, right, for mayor.
Yeah,
that's a betrayal. Right? That's massive betrayal. Okay, so he betrayed me there. Where else did he betray me? He betrayed me when he brought in Albert Bourla into the White House. He betrayed me when he brought in Mark Zuckerberg and Bill Gates into the White House. He betrayed me when he offered up $70 billion to the CEO of the largest DNA mutilation distribution platform, Pfizer, right? I mean, that's just in the last couple of weeks. So where did we go wrong? I'd say in May is when things went off the rails, in May.
Yeah, you know what? Since you say that, I could pull up the poll. I'm not going to pull it up right now. I pulled it up. But yeah, so I showed the poll graphs today, and it was April and May. It was the Doge fallout and the Musk fallout, and then it was the Iran strikes.
Yeah, and then the Bibi meeting.
And that's when we hit the point of no return, which when the disapproval rating went above the approval rating. It was after that fallout, and then after he called Epstein files a hoax, then we reached a point of no return. Then
Right.
it became out
Let's
of
dig
reach.
into that, can we? Because I want to make sure everybody understands the timeline. Do you know the exact dates of these? Can we pull these up? Because this is something that I wanted to do.
Well,
But then you asked me to come on.
You talk, I'll pull them up. What do you want me to pull up? You talk, I pull them
Yeah.
up.
So basically, we had starting in January, we had really good January. We had a lot of pardons, but we still couldn't get all the pardons because I don't know, either due to cowardice, due to cuckery, or due to deep state swampery manipulating. You know, if you're defending Trump, then you're going to say it's Susie Wiles and it's everybody else that duped President Trump.
Well,
for
they're
the
all
fifth
defending
year,
Wiles
for the
now.
fifth year in a row, right?
Wiles.
What's that?
They're all defending Wiles now.
Well, Bobby Kennedy is, right?
Well, Trump
As
defended
of
her.
an hour ago. Yeah, because she's the most powerful person in the world, right?
Yeah.
So he defends her. We can go into that. I mean, I think you know most of the information that I do. I mean, you're the one that broke it when you were over at InfoWars about how some folks are reaching out to you and raising the alarm. Do you remember when that raising of the alarm started? That is a critical date.
Well, let me give you a date I got right now. The Musk-Trump fallout, if we can put a date on it, would be May 30th, which was when Musk officially exited the White House, and that's kind of when it really started. I mean, you could argue that Doge started to fall apart before that, but that's in May. May 30th is when it really went bad.
Critical date, May 30th. Now, originally under the rules of a SGE, special government employee, you're given 130 days in a calendar year to operate as a government employee. And so if you take logically from January 20th, basically 130 days later is at the end of May. But it could have been done in a very nice, benign, amicable way, right? The velvet release, which initially it was that way because President Trump gave him the keys to the White House. Remember the golden keys, and he was exiting. But then there was a very massive kind of public fallout that they try to hold, under the radar. And we saw that spat was between Sergio Gore and Elon Musk. Now, I'm not so sure that it was only Sergio Gore, okay?
It wasn't.
And so what would be your guess of who it would be in addition to Sergio Gore? Who would benefit the most within those that ran Trump's campaign and financed it the most to be able to gain access and favor with Trump? And like, who would benefit by removing Elon Musk's influence?
So, well, you're asking me a different, you're asking me a bit more of an angular question. So I want you to answer your own question, but let me just tell you, and I don't like reporting that this is hearsay. So let me just be for the audience to understand. This is all hearsay.
This is speculation and analysis.
This is hearsay, not my speculation. This is what I have heard. I heard that Musk had issues with Besant, Gore, Miller, and then there was one more. There was one other person he had an issue with. I forget who it was. But basically, I think Musk.
I hadn't heard about Miller. Definitely Besant when they got in a shoving match.
Well, apparently that was Besant. Again, this is all hearsay. I don't know. That's why I don't really lean into this stuff. But obviously, there was a fallout, and my best understanding of it, whatever actually happened behind the scenes, I don't know for sure. That's all hearsay. Whatever actually happened behind the scenes. My best understanding is that Musk got in there, thought he would have more influence, thought he would have a bigger role, thought that the administration was serious about the Doge cuts and the things that they campaigned on. And when he found out that they weren't, he kind of just crashed out a little bit. And I think for a good reason, but he kind of just like started crashing out like, hey, screw all you people. I invested $100 million to get in here. I thought you were serious about Doge. And they kind of pushed him out and gave him the poo-poo, and he didn't like it.
Right. The unfortunate thing, I think, is that I think Elon felt as though people were going to operate in good faith, right? Him coming in and kind of welcome him to fix things. Because at the end of the day, he coined himself as tech support, right? I mean, he's joking about it, but at the end of the day, he's pretty good at tech support considering he's built all these massive, tens of billions of dollars, trillion-dollar companies, right? So he expected people to kind of listen to some of his advice.
So is this where you go into the Susie Wiles angle because of her partners in AI and tech?
Well, who are those partners in AI and tech?
Stop asking me the question, Ivan. I brought you on here you're the guy. What are you doing here? Stop playing games. You sound like the administration now. Who are you, Pam?
Well, who do you think planted the pipe bomb?
Give me the damn intel.
Okay.
I'll put a blonde wig on that head of yours. I'll put a blonde wig on that head and call you Pam Bondi if you keep teasing me like this.
Well, it's not as big of an insult as calling me Mike Pence, but it's it's up there. It's up there. So, all right. I actually don't know when you asked that question about AI and big tech related to Susie. I haven't gone down that rabbit hole to be able to answer that. So I don't know the answer to that. That's something that is worth looking into. But I'll say this, that going back to that May 30th timeframe. So what has happened since then? June, July, August, September, October, and now we're in the middle of November. A lot of big things have occurred since that period of time. I mean, when was the Iran, what is it, having Trump bomb Iran on behalf of Israel?
Yeah, so it went, so May was the Doge Musk fallout. June was the Iran strikes Israel foreign policy fallout. And then July was the Epstein files are a hoax fallout. So it was May, June, July, and now it's just I don't think it's reachable again. I think that's where the approval, disapproval flipped, and I think it's out of reach now.
Okay, so I'm going to say something that I don't think ever has been publicly said by anyone, but Tucker Carlson in his release this morning alluded to it. Okay, so I'm going to amplify that a little bit. So have you had a chance to see that yet?
What thing? He's put out a bunch of stuff. You're talking about the Crooks
this morning
thing?
He put out the Crooks investigation.
Yeah.
So in that, he mentions that he went to the White House with Charlie Kirk with the sole purpose of Charlie essentially advocating, the only guy in that room advocating, so that President Trump would not bomb Iran on behalf of Israel. Okay. That is not only coming from Tucker Carlson. I have other sources that have told me that well before Tucker came out with that specifically it was Charlie Kirk advocating for it. And even in the old I think it was in the old executive office building or White House itself.
It was the
these sources told me asking them to please stop Trump from going into Iran. Okay. So if you were to look at the entire cabinet of who's in that room, who was the one closest in representing kind of the pulse of the base? And I get it. Charlie Kirk wasn't quite as based, what people would call as you and me. But at the end of the day, he was in the room, meaning in Twitter. He was in social media. He saw it, not only digitally, but he's on campus. So people are on social media, the interactions that he had. He was probably closest in understanding what the overall American base wanted when it came to foreign interference, foreign incursion, et cetera. And so I think he was that voice of reason, and everybody else wanted. I mean, this is my assessment. I'm going to go into my assessment now. I kind of laid out what we observed. And then, so the assessment is this: you have massive amounts of money, not only Elon Musk, that donated to the campaign. And I think it was what, 230 million was by AIPAC, right?
And then I think Adelson was like,
and then the Adelsons, right?
Like 100
so
million.
You look at it, if it's a competing interest of billionaires and they're trying to gain influence and favor into the government that is the most powerful, still technically in the world by most measures, or some most powerful government in the world, at least in the top two, then what do you need to do in order to make that happen, right? You need to, one, remove the most influential America-esque billionaire, and then infuse yourself into the conversation, for example, the Adelsons, with dual loyalties, right? And then you use your network and influence to continue to push that influence. So how do you do it? I mean, how do you make money also with it? You work with the military. What is the biggest budget in the federal budget? What's the biggest line item? It's defense, right? We're going like near $1 trillion. So why not have a cut at that by constantly telling America that, hey, we need to go after Iran because they're only seconds away from a nuclear bomb. Oh, wait, they're minutes away. No, they're hours away. They're days away, weeks, months, years, right? And so you sound that alarm through your surrogates for the, those that are Israel First Republicans. You utilize Fox News. For the Israel First Democrats, you utilize CNN and MSNBC. And then you convince the populace, the lemmings, the normies within those two camps that consume that toxic information, and you convince them to go ahead and make yourself money hand over fist by leveraging the military industrial complex to go ahead and bomb yet another country. That's the way I see it like playing out through like analytic deduction.
Yeah. Well, let me give you the same analytic deduction, because we're basically on the same page. You kind of come at it from a different angle. My deductive reasoning yesterday, I reached a similar conclusion. I think it was yesterday. It was this week. But may I add real quick, if you recall, I think it was the New York Times. I forget who it was. But
New York Slimes, please pronounce it right.
The New York Slimes. I think I don't remember who published it originally, but if you recall, the narrative originally around those Iran strikes debates was that Vance was the guy in there trying to stop it from happening. Now, originally Gabbard was in there trying to influence things, and they kind of shoved her aside and said, "Hey, you do intelligence. You're not in here to do policy." And they've kind of sidelined her since. So the kind of mainstream feed of that event of the Iran strikes debate was that Vance was against them and Gabbard was against them. They sidelined Gabbard and said, "You're not here for policy. You're here for intelligence." You may also recall there were people inside of the Pete Hegseth camp, and Hegseth was kind of a fence sitter too, but he had people inside of his camp that were telling him, "Hey, this is bad. People don't like him." They fired those people. They got rid of those people as quickly as they could. They got rid of any of these voices.
But who's the they? That's the question.
Good question. Susie Wiles, I guess. I don't know. I don't know who's firing them. That's a great question, actually. I don't know who decides they're going to fire them or who's applying that pressure to Hegseth to fire him. That's a fair question. I don't know.
That's what people need to. It's a question that people need to ask and dig into the answer. Because when you start going in that direction, you see a lot of responses of like, "Oh, Susie's the best person in the history of humanity," as per tweet today by Bobby Kennedy, right?
Well, Susie works for Netanyahu, and Netanyahu wants us to bomb Iran. So, I mean, put two and two together. I think that it's fair to say that those are the highest odds. But what I'm saying is the Tucker report today added a little more context to those meetings.
Yes, it did.
And that's what you're bringing up. So we didn't know. We didn't realize that there were other voices that were trying to get a little influence. Charlie and Tucker, perhaps.
Charlie was directly talking to folks and was pleading with them.
Which makes more sense now.
Please do not let the president bomb Iran.
Yeah, which makes more sense now. This is why they're attacking Tucker so much. It's the same game of the swamp and the deep state attacking the people that stand against it. Now, here's what I reached yesterday, a different angle, but this is the same thing. The conclusion that I reached this week was that Charlie was the last voice of reason in Trump's ear. Charlie was the last voice that could penetrate the gatekeeping and tell Trump what Americans are thinking and what Americans are feeling. Now, whether Charlie felt that way or not, people can listen to what he said in his final days and they can decide where Charlie fell in the situation. I'll let Charlie's words in his final days and weeks on this planet tell that story. There's plenty of the clips. You can decide that for yourself. But I think it's clear that Charlie was the last person that was able to penetrate the gatekeeping and give Donald Trump the real world, real American intelligence of this is where Americans are at right now. And I also, and I'm sure you saw, did you see the Megyn Kelly clip that showed Tucker and Charlie talking?
I think so. I don't think I watched the whole thing. I just saw
it's a short clip. It just so Megyn, I guess, was filming something else. It just so happened to have them in the background. But you hear Charlie's. Charlie.
Oh yeah, that one I did. Yeah,
so Charlie and Tucker are debating. Charlie's like, "Hey, they don't want you to speak because your foreign policy stance."
And he says, "Go all in," or like
go all in.
Sure, basically.
So for me, and you may have this with your platform too, but I knew exactly what was happening because it happens to me all the time. I know exactly what this is. This is Charlie going to Tucker and he's saying, "Tucker, I can't say this stuff. I can't say this stuff on my platform. I can't say this stuff because of my donors. I can't say it. It's not good for me to say this. I can't do it. You go all the way. You go, Max. You say this stuff." That's how I interpreted it because I've been there. I've had people come out and say, "Oh, and I can't cover this. I need you to." Say, "Oh, and for whatever reason, I can't mention this. You got to do it for me." So when I saw that, I was like, "Oh, I know exactly what that is."
Because you're caught in an ethical, moral dilemma. You are not willing to destroy your own home, but it doesn't sit well to just sit on it and not do anything about it. And that's what was going on. And I think a lot of that's going on with the base right now. You're seeing this it's a full-blown civil war going on. And I think those of us that have been right from the get-go, obviously you and those that are in here, that didn't bend a knee on any of the bullshit coming the last 5 years, we're the tip of the spear, that first wave to essentially say, hey, Houston, Texas, and America, we have a problem. And that problem is, it's people are blaming the staff, right? At what point, is it a month, a year, or 5 years into an administration that you now basically say, all right, we can't blame the staff anymore because we've already kind of showcased and proven that the staff is in conflict. At what point does the executive, meaning the president, bear responsibility for all these failed decisions? And that's where we're at right now. In the last few days, to agree with you and others that are saying, oh, Susie Wiles, you're taking the stance that Donald Trump is just as mentally incompetent as Joe Biden. Because if you're mentally incompetent, then you can say that the staff is running the dummy. But although, I'm seeing instances of slight cognitive decline with this current president.
He did take a nap.
Still lucid. What's that?
He did take a nap in the Oval Office the other day.
Yeah, but he's still, for his age, right? He's great. He's
fine. I don't think that's a big issue. I mean, it could be every once in a while, but that's not
he's intelligent.
Yeah.
He knows what he's doing. So then if, on one side, everybody's like, oh, he's smart. He's doing infinite D chess. He's this and that. And on the other side, blame the staff. And then it's always the response of, oh, keep your enemies close, right? No. If you're going to take him for his word, he's all in on shilling for big pharma, okay? He's proven that. And he's done that in a very exponential fashion, particularly like we're laying out the case with the calendar. May, June, July, and then September, Charlie's assassinated, okay? So it begs the question, why is he making these decisions? And I want to hear your side of it before I chime in.
Well, let me do this. I want to read these messages I got from January 6ers, and I've actually been corrected since I've been on air today. I said that there were 6 suicides. I'm told there's 16. There are 16 January 6th defendant suicides. 16 of us. So let me read these messages I got after my coverage of this yesterday.
Yeah.
This was requested of me to say on the air after they appreciated me bringing this up. I would just go off what he was saying yesterday about how ridiculous it is that we can't get any help from this bleeping administration. How is it that we fought for years and took the fall for Trump and he won't do anything besides pardon us? Most of us were already out. I feel like he used us for a political victory and then completely forgot about us. And now he doesn't even want us in the MAGA movement because we want to hold him accountable. He tricked all of us. Okay. Here's another one. The DOJ is a big, scary animal. There are at least 2 of us who spent the births of our children in prison because of the games, the language games, and the DOJ played to hype up the charges against us. There is an existing procedure for inmates to be released temporarily for extreme family circumstances, such as funerals, the birth of a child, etc., and the judges shut it down. So they didn't let January 6ers get out to go to funerals of their loved ones, their family. They didn't let them go out to see the birth of their children. It goes on. Perhaps we could concede that the riot of January 6th was a dumb spur-of-the-moment decision. All of us were held hostage, stripped of our rights and title they ever achieved in our lives, homes raided at gunpoint to extract us in the dead of night, laser sights trained on our children, all because the powers that be had the ability to brainwash the nation into believing that being present in one moment in time gone awry is akin to treason. They punished our families, the people not present, to instill the terror of institution against us and scare us into playing ball with the system. Facts be damned. And Pam Bondi not only hasn't touched this tragedy, she seems to support it outright. The House always wins. So this is where the disenfranchisement is at from January 6ers. I'd say highest approval rating is maybe 20%, probably closer to 10 of this administration from the January 6ers.
Now imagine the support percentage of the 8,600 that were thrown out of the military due to the illegal jab mandate. Of the 80,000, 100,000 of us that left early because we weren't going to participate in the medical experiment. That's just the DOD. What about other government agencies? What level of support do you think is garnered from
look at the FBI whistleblower.
Same thing, because there hasn't been a single accountability done on any of the illegal vaccine mandate orders.
No,
nothing.
Trump is like quadrupled down on it. He's done. We're not going to. But look at the FBI whistleblowers. All the FBI whistleblowers are 0% approval rating.
Yeah. Which begs the question. I mean, I said this kind of a couple weeks into it. I got to go back and see when I first said this. But I basically said once this admin started to settle in January, February, maybe March, that we went from a illegitimate China first Biden criminal syndicate to a Israel first cowardly cuck administration. Okay. We went from traitors to cowards. Okay. That's where we're at. Now, the cowards are allowing us some breathing room to be able to kind of recover, consolidate, reorganize against the traitors, because these cucks aren't going to do anything to the traitors. We've already seen that. It's already almost a year in. James Comey still runs the FBI. He's out there freely living life as he's coordinating with all of his surrogates and loyalists at the FBI.
Worse than all of it is Mayorkas. That man, don't even get me started. I already ranted on that. And I got a Comey story coming up. I don't know if you saw. The whole Comey case is falling apart.
Yeah, there's that. So let's think this through. Do you think that as soon as he left office, Chris Wray and James Comey, that everyone that they talked to and lived and worked with for decades at the FBI stopped talking to them? Seriously? They still control the FBI while Kash Patel is out there. Let cops be good cops. Well, your cops being good cops are telling you, hey, Kash, why don't you just say this and we'll handle the rest? Thanks, little buddy. Meanwhile, nothing on the J6 pipe bomber, nothing on the Fedsurrection, nothing on the traitors Jim Comey, on Brennan, on Letitia James. Oh, but we've indicted them, Ivan. Yeah, great. If I'm Jim Comey, I still got this. I got my phone. I still got my freedom. And now I can coordinate the next coup against everybody that I want to, because I'm free and clear while my lawyer, Abby Lowell, takes care of business in the courtroom. Same thing with the DOJ. While Pam Bondi is being told what to do and say by Jolene Ann Loria, who's been there for 18 years and says who gets to work and who gets fired at the DOJ and who gets money and who doesn't. Jolene Ann Loria, most people don't even know who that is. That is like the epicenter, the top of the pinnacle of the deep state. That's like the wild card ace of spades in the DOJ, and no one talks about her. She's been the comptroller for 18 years at the DOJ, dictating how things flow. Meanwhile, Pam Bondi is like, oh, but she's great. She tells me everything I want to hear. She pats me on the back. She gives me compliments as she runs you.
How about this? Let's play a game here. Let me see if I can get a number.
I love games.
How many
cowards?
How many times do you think Pam Bondi's been on Fox News since she became the AG? I can probably get an answer on this.
Probably hundreds. It depends on how many days there are.
There's no way 100. 100 might be. All right, so let's go over under. I'm gonna get it. I'm good on political odds making.
Days or appearances?
Appearances.
Distinct appearances, because I know there are multiples in a day.
I'm gonna go with over under. I'll do it. I'm gonna go over under 69. Yep. Yep, it's actually a fair number. Over under 69. Ivan, over under 69. Pam Bondi on Fox News since becoming AG.
I'm going to have to go with, 10 months, 30 days, 300. What do we have? About 300 days. I'm going to go over. All
right, we're crunching. We're crunching the data right now. It's compiling.
What are you using? Chat 5.0?
Yeah, I'm using AI.
Which one?
Oh my gosh. I'm using Grok right now.
Okay, I'm going to pull up Chat Pro, Chat GPT 5.1.
Grok is estimating 86 times.
Bam! So how many? Wait,
Grok-
what was it? What's
Grok
the
is
query? What did you write for the query?
How many times has Pam Bondi been on Fox News since becoming Attorney General?
On Fox News.
Grok believes the number is 86. So see, 69 wasn't far off. That's not a bad odds maker right there.
All right, so I'm pressing enter. We'll go into. Oh wow, let me see here.
What do you got?
Here, let me change it to thinking mode. There. One moment. Let's go with the woke one. See what the woke one tells me.
You got to give it up.
Browsing.
69. 69 was a good number there. Not many people.
Let's parse it down. 80, right? So I mean, is she
now I guess it's 80. Now we got a number in.
General. Now, ask Grok how many days she actually showed up to work.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if Grok has that information. If it did, it wouldn't.
You know what? I need somebody to stand outside of the parking garage and the entrance of the DOJ on Pennsylvania Avenue there, and just basically hang out, First Amendment, peacefully, and just have a video camera 24/7 live streaming.
Laura Loomer might do that. She could. She could chain herself to the building.
Well, the old Laura Loomer would have done that. I'm not sure about the new and improved Laura Loomer would do that, because she's not allowed to say the names of the people that are involved in the vetting crisis at the White House. You know, she's all about calling people by names until it's like, I can't say the names because I'll lose my access.
Yeah.
Is my guess.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
We love her, right? We've known her for years.
Yeah.
I can't say definitively. She would have to respond to that.
Pam was on Fox yesterday. What did she talk about? Anything? Nobody knows. Nobody cares.
Pam Bondi has appeared on Fox News about 30 times since becoming Attorney General, based on a political analysis summarized by the Daily Beast as of October 7th.
So that's just crunching Daily Beast numbers. That's not giving you the full numbers.
Yeah.
Grok actually gave me all the times. It cited all the 86 times on a graph for me.
So you notice how Grok does versus, I mean, chat is garbage because it only references the two sources primarily used were Politico and Daily Beast.
Yeah.
All right, back to what we were talking about. The calendar. So we talked about June, the bombing Iran on behalf of Israel. Then what happens in July and August before the Charlie Kirk assassination? Any major developing events? Because I mean, you focus more on the daily grind, so you have, I think, better context. I kind of try to back up and put the pieces together because I'm not on live every day like you are. Your finger on the pulse is a lot more granular than mine.
So I'm sorry, I was reading something. I was trying to get because Grok was estimating 86. I would try to get it to think harder, and it was like, yeah, still same number. So I'll move on from that. What was your question?
Yeah, so let's take a look at how what days did Bibi Netanyahu visit President Trump?
I can get that too. Let's go to Grok. What days was Netanyahu at the White House? I believe it's 4 appearances.
It's key. I mean, these are key things. And oh, by the way, while we're pulling this up, you got to keep in mind that he's met with Bibi Netanyahu more than any other leader.
Yeah,
when you go back to
Netanyahu, February, April, July, September, according to Grok, 4 times.
July and September. Okay. So then what was discussed in those meetings? Here's my speculation. Where's my little piece of paper here that I want to bring out? There we go. We'll just imagine this is a piece of paper. And you're Donald Trump and I'm Bibi Netanyahu, and we're gonna cosplay, okay?
I'm Netanyahu?
No, you're Trump.
Oh, thank God you're Trump. Okay. How are we, Bibi? How many people have you killed this month? Go ahead. Let's see it. Show me the numbers.
Shalom, Donald. Shalom, shalom.
Yes,
yes. Sir, have I got the deal for you? I just reread your book, The Art of the Deal, and do I have a deal for you? See this right here? This is my document that I just wrote up nominating you to be selected as the Nobel Peace Prize laureate. It's the one thing that you want that you don't have, and
It's great.
Barry Hussein Obama has it.
I'm better. I deserve it.
You do deserve it. Absolutely. So here's what you need to do in order to obtain it, and for me to go ahead and nominate you and get the necessary votes for you to get the laureate, because guess what? Due to my nice interactions with the guy that doesn't exist, what's his name? Jeffrey Epstein.
So
due to the leverage that I have.
Never heard of him.
Well, you've never heard of him, but he's quite the influence operation for us here in Israel, allegedly. And so I'm going to go ahead and use and leverage the information and dirt that he's been able to build to then convince not only other members of the Academy, the Nobel Academy, but I'm going to try to convince other foreign leaders to jump on board with me to go ahead and provide you the Nobel Peace Prize, Mr. Donald. What do you think? You want it?
Wow. Well, it's funny, BB. It seems like every time you come here for a meeting, something leaks to the press, a new Epstein drawing, a new Epstein note, and then there you are trying to leverage me to do what you want. So I guess I don't have much of a choice then, do I, BB? I guess not. So what do you want? You get it all, okay? Susie says, go ahead.
Yeah, there you. I was hoping you'd say that, Donald. I was hoping you'd say you get it all. So here's what I want. You've already done some of the things. You flicked out Mr. Elon Musk. Thank you. Now Miriam can kind of take his place and influence kind of the conversation. My good friend Miriam, she's your good friend, right? She donated quite a bit to your campaign. Remember her? You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, Miriam. I saw her recently in Israel. I told everybody the truth about her, that she cares more about Israel than America. Everybody knows it now. I told the truth. I told the truth. The problem is, it's, you know what? Maybe I like it because Elon Musk was hanging out a lot. He slept in a closet. It was very strange. And so now with Adelson, I never have to see her. I just have to take her money and do what she wants.
Very nice, Donald. I'm glad. This is quite the deal we're making here. So what else? You already did the bombing Iran on behalf of us. So that's good. So you're getting there. You're getting close. Now keep doing what I tell you to do. And eventually I'm going to get you that Nobel Peace Prize. Okay. Just keep doing what we're telling you to do.
I don't know.
Sure?
I'm a little skeptical here. You know, you're not too popular yourself. Okay.
I don't know what else you need to do, Donald, since you're going to take that tone with me. You need to request that I get a pardon from my president here in Israel. Why don't you go ahead and do that too, since you're trying to raise your voice against me?
Well, gee, I just saw the new emails just leaked, and so I know you're looking for another big contract. You're looking for another 40 bill. You want my people's money again, but I don't like these emails, BB, okay? I don't like the emails. Can we stop the emails? Huh? Can we stop?
Well, I'm not sure about the emails. I mean, what I want to remind you is that, remember, why do you think that my country, Israel, has received the most billions of dollars, I think to the tune of 300 and something billion in the course of America's history?
Maybe I just cut you a check, okay? I just cut you another 20 bill.
Yeah, but you're not providing any more funding to Ukraine. So all of that should come to us.
I cut the Ukraine deal too. I cut the deal. What do you mean? My people don't even like it. Look at me. I'm tanking. Look at me.
It doesn't matter. I have your Nobel Peace Prize.
BB, you got to give me some space. I'm dying here, baby. I'm dying here.
I have your Nobel Peace Prize in the works right here.
I
tried to get it for you last time, but the Venezuelan lady got it.
No, I want a new deal. Well, we all know why she got it, because they want regime change there too. Okay, we all know that. So let's just calm down. I want a new deal, baby. I want a new deal. What I want is, I want the land. That's what I want. I want the land.
Okay, how about this? We'll get you a Trump property. Where do you want it? Tel Aviv, or do you want it in Jerusalem?
I want it on the beat. I want the best. Okay, I'll send in my
You
team.
want it in Tel Aviv, huh?
I'll send in the Trump prospectors. They'll tell me what's the best, and that's what I want. And if we're going to build the Ben Gurion Canal, I want a cut, baby.
Okay, I'll get you that, but you have to get Albert Bourla in the White House and give him 70 bill.
Burla, that freak again?
Yeah, and then you have to, on your Truth Social, you have to announce that you're supporting boosters this year.
You're killing me. Baby, have you seen the approval numbers? Have you seen it? It's not
It
good.
doesn't matter. You want the Nobel Peace Prize or not? You're going to have to do my bidding here.
Look, okay, here's the reality. I don't have to win another election. So if you're going to take my numbers, fine, I can deal with it. But how do I know you can come through? How do I know? I don't
You
think
just got to trust me. I mean,
I don't trust you.
Who else has more leverage than Bibi Netanyahu?
I don't think you know what the fuck you're doing, Bibi, if I'm being honest. I don't think you know what the fuck you're doing, okay? That's what I think.
Okay, you're going to have that tone with me. I'm going to have a conversation with Miriam.
Oh, gosh.
And Susie.
Oh, geez, please. Okay.
Remember, you said yourself, Susie is the most powerful woman in the world.
Please, I can't deal with him anymore. It's constant.
Miriam found that offensive when you said that. She thought she was the most powerful.
Do you understand what I'm dealing with here? With your girl, Susie? That's your girl, baby. That's your girl, by the way. You sent her here.
Hey, I cut her off after a few months on the campaign.
You know what I have to deal with now because of this? I have to deal with I'm sitting here in the Oval Office and I can barely even get good people in. Okay? I want the good people in. I want the Gold Star families. I want the American workers. And it's like I can't even do it with Susie running the show.
Don't listen to the base. Those are just panicking kooks on Twitter. Don't listen to them. Those are panicking.
Wow.
Those are kooks, right?
Wow. These are my people, okay? And it's
Those
not
are Americans. You don't need to be worrying about Americans right now. Nobel Peace Prize is for international activity, not what's going on in America.
I need something more. What can you do for my family, Bibi? You know, I'm not going to be around forever. What can you do for my family, Bibi? What can you do? What assurances can you make?
I'm going to have to think about that one, actually, because it's going to get a little bit challenging.
I want Kushner. He gets all the access.
Okay. Fair enough. Thanks for the reminder.
All right.
Yeah. The time difference. No, it's late here. It's late here in Jerusalem. It's a little late, so I'm a little tired. Thanks for reminding me about that.
Well, Bibi, you've destroyed my coalition. Okay? You destroyed my coalition, but I get it.
You're the decider. You're the decision maker. I'm just offering you a Nobel Peace Prize, Donald.
Well, we'll see if you can come through with that. I'm more interested in the land and you making sure my family is well taken care of. All right? That's what we really want. If you can get the Nobel Prize.
Take care of Jared.
If we can get the Nobel Prize. We know what you're doing, Bibi, okay? But we know you're not very popular either, okay? So we got to be we're going to keep an eye on your situation. I'll take care of the letter now. I'll try to get the IC off your back. I'll try to get the Knesset off your back. Probably not going to work. I'll probably not be able to do that, but I'll make the effort. That's what I'll do for you.
Okay. I'll make the effort for the Nobel Peace Prize.
You tell Adelson to keep the money coming in. You tell Adelson to keep the money coming in, but I know what AIPAC does. They don't care if I lose. They don't care who wins or loses the elections because they own both sides. But you got to watch out. I don't know if it's going to be so good there on the Democrat side, Bibi, so you better be real nice. You better be real nice, Bibi.
Don't worry about it. Like you said, we have influence over both political parties in your country.
Bibi, I'm a little concerned here. I got this beeper that you gave me. It's blinking. Okay? Is that supposed to be happening? The beeper
is no. You need to have that. You need to have that.
JD, you need to, JD, this blink.
That beeper.
Where is the Secret Service?
You have to keep that beeper because that's how I'm going to communicate with you on the progress of your Nobel Peace Prize.
Oh, I'm sure the communications will be explosive, huh? Yeah. Nowhere else.
Complete.
Nowhere else. Nowhere else, ladies and gentlemen.
You'll never get this on any other program. And
I don't even know if he knows what the hell's going on.
So there you go, Ivan Raiklan. Hey, Ivan, I hope you have a great weekend. I hope you have a great weekend.
Ooh, are we going to get
swamp?
Get some love plumbing, on that one.
Swamp plumbing, swamp drainage you're up to this weekend. It's a disaster, man. It's backing up bad. Hey,
you got to come up here. All I have is a straw. I'm working
Oh,
as
my
fast as I
gosh.
can. Sucking a
Oh,
straw.
sounds awful. Sounds awful. Hey, you know what? You'll be getting some reinforcement soon. Well, we're going to see what happens. I'm sure you saw the Pentagon opened up for a bunch of independent journalists to come up there and get a pass.
Yeah.
I think a bunch of them are going to be coming to DC pretty soon. So maybe you'll get a little backup there.
Good. And if you know anybody that's going to be in that press corps, just let me know, because I could probably make some introductions. I'm sure they can do it on their own, but I still have pretty good relationships in different. Even though we did the skit, and we know wherein lies the problem, I do have good access in a good portion.
Wow.
Of this.
Wow. Well, I'm just glad I didn't anticipate this going on. I'm just glad I got to play the role of Trump. Okay?
I know, because I saw was it yesterday you did that, or the day before?
Was it the new starting lineup one?
Yeah.
We got a new starting lineup because you Americans, you just suck. You're not good. We saw the numbers. We need others. Okay.
You got to clip this part out. I mean, this one's going to go. It's not for the virality of it. It's for the exposing what we're redressing our grievances at the end of the day. We're using our First Amendment to identify what we think is the problem. And if we're totally off base, then they can go ahead and respond kind of like Dan Bongino did to Thomas Massey and tell us what's actually going on.
Jeez. This whole thing is falling apart. Well, here's what it is to me. I didn't get what I voted for. And just to be clear, I will never regret voting for Trump. I still believe it was the right decision over Harris, but I won't regret
a trillion times better.
Donald Trump released innocent men from prison, and a lot of those men were my friends. And so I will never regret voting for Donald Trump just because he released the innocent men from prison, period. I will never regret it. But post that, I don't think I'm getting what I voted for. And I think with every passing day and month, it looks like the odds of me and you and the MAGA base getting what we voted for are quickly approaching zero.
So I got two things that I sent you. Are you able to screen share?
Yeah, I'm not getting into this. I don't know. I'm not getting into this today.
No,
not today. You can come on another time. If you would have sent me this before, I don't want to get into it now. I gotta jump to other news anyway. We've been here for an hour.
Okay.
You can't, we just did the impression skit. You can't top
that.
The curtain goes down after that. There's no encore here. That's it.
All right. Enjoy the weekend.
I'll
come back. So it's about the pardons, and take a look at it.
All right.
I think that the pardons on from Monday apply to the Oath Keepers and Proud Boys, and we're going to push through that and make sure it happens.
I know Joe Biggs is one of those, so I was actually going to try to have Joe on the show anyway. So we'll bring that back up next week, I think.
Okay. Yeah. Anytime. Just give me a holler. I'm in the swamp every day talking to new people, and some of them don't like talking to me, and some of them
women around swamping it up with Ivan Raiklin at Ivan Raiklin on X. Ivan, good to catch up. Fun time.
Always good. Good seeing you, Owen. Peace.
All right. There goes Ivan. How was that? Did you guys enjoy that? Little off the cuff humor. Little off the cuff impersonations here. Like it's SNL or something. Is that what's going on here? Probably funnier than stuff you see on SNL. I don't know. Don't really see too much from SNL these days. So I really don't know. Don't see too much about that. Don't hear too much about that. All right, we are closing out the second hour. And before we do, I want to tell you about our friends over at CHOQ Supplements. That's CHOQ Supplements. And as you know, I'm very health conscious, and I take, depending on the day, anywhere between 10 to 20 supplements for many different reasons. But one of the big reasons, especially for somebody my age in their now upper 30s, can't believe it, is that, testosterone levels naturally go down. But instead of finding synthetic ways to try to reverse that process, there are natural ways to do that. And one of them is to go to CHOQ.com and take advantage of the Male Vitality Stack. There's also the Male Vitality Ultra Stack. Now, why? Why is because men's testosterone levels decline 1% a year on average after the age of 30. What's worse is men's testosterone levels on average were already half of what they were 50 years ago. So it's just like compounding the issue. Testosterone is more than just your manhood. It's critical for mental clarity, mood, sleep, and overall vitality. So the Patriots at CHOQ.com, CHOQ.com, have formulated a blend of natural herbal supplements that support your body's natural testosterone production. Just one ingredient in their male vitality stack has boosted free testosterone levels more than 50% in just 21 days. Right now, you can get 25% off your CHOQ subscription for life. Just go to CHOQ.com, CHOQ.com, use promo code OWEN, and you'll get 25% off any subscription for life. Cancel anytime. But we don't think you will. CHOQ is made in America, and their all-American customer service team is standing by to assist you. That's right. You can call them right now, send them a text, or go to CHOQ.com. But if you do want to call, you do want to text, they're friendly over there. 50-CHOQ-3000. That's 50-CHOQ-3000. Call or text, and they would be happy to answer any of your questions.
It's the fastest 3 hours on the internet. It's the Owen Report with Owen Schroyer.
MS Now. What? They're doing it. MS Now. MSNBC, as of this weekend, will now be MS Now. Oh, that'll do it. That'll save you guys. How a cable news channel starts over. A candid chat with MS Now's anchors. The clock is ticking on MSNBC because on Saturday, November 15th, the cable channel will officially rebrand, losing its NBC name and iconography, and debuting its new MS Now title and look with the tagline, same mission, new name. What are you doing? Who? Rebecca Cutler, the president of MS Now, spent months building an entire news division to prepare for this moment. Wow. You know, she probably makes a lot of money. And she's that stupid. And she's that dumb. What's funny is MSNBC's ratings were actually going up. MSNBC ratings have actually been going up lately for the first time in years. And that's because the right wing has just gone right back to the propaganda from 10 years ago. So that's kind of opened the door for some of these left-wing networks to get back some of those ratings that they lost. MS Now, what do you guys think? I think it's a bad move. I understand why they want to do it because they're now known as fake news. I mean, when the face of your news operation is Rachel Maddow, you got problems. You got problems. Now, I didn't cover this from last month because I just never got to it. I actually anticipate now Karine Jean-Pierre gets the job. I'm going to make that prediction. I think Karine Jean-Pierre gets a job. And man, did they make her work for it. They made her work so hard for it. But I think she's going to get it. I think it might be MS Now. Maybe that's where they decide to debut her. I think she's going to get one now. I do. She's got a new look. She's got a new attitude. They're kind of rebranding her with the new look and the new attitude that she carries. So I think, despite having to lie and just becoming a known liar, that fits in at MSN or MS Now. It fits in at MSNBC, maybe now MS Now, but they just needed to rebrand her, just like they're rebranding their news network. But imagine how dumb you must be. Okay, I'm MSNBC, and we are just tanking. Our ratings are tanking. our top news host who makes ridiculous money and doesn't even work, like she works like 2 days a week. Rachel Maddow works like 2 days a week. She makes millions of dollars. Our ratings suck. So we got all kinds of problems. We got a branding problem. We got a public perception problem. We got a face of the network problem. So I know we're going to rebrand our name. Same talent or lack thereof, same on-air personalities, but we're going to rebrand the name, and we'll have some new flashy logos and stuff and maybe generate some buzz. And this is all because now the MSNBC name and logo and perception is so negative. But then our tagline is going to be same mission. Wow, what genius thought of that? Hey, the MSNBC mission has failed. Oh, I know. Let's come up with a new name. And then our tagline will be same mission. I can't believe it. And, you know, it's funny. And this probably applies to any professional field, I would imagine. But it's in media, I feel like it has to be one of the worst. Folks, I'm telling you. I've always saw this stuff. I've always seen this stuff in media. It's like you see such bad leadership sometimes in the media. It's unreal. And you're just sitting there watching decisions get made. And you're like, how in the hell are you the president of this company? The mission failed. MSNBC's mission failed. And now we're so in the dumps we have to rebrand our entire network. And then our tagline is same mission. That's like, hey, we're rebranding, but we're going to tell people, hey, we rebranded, but we still suck. Hey, new logo, same suck. And it's like, how do you not even bring in somebody for a new face? Karine Jean-Pierre she might help at this point. Maddow doesn't even show up to work. He's a bum. Rachel Maddow is a bum. That dude works less than anyone else in media. All right. I got some other news here. Let's get to this news. Let's get to the news here. U.S. attorney prosecuting Comey and James faces legal challenge over her appointment. Did you guys hear about this? I can't believe I didn't hear about this. And I guess you would have had to do some deep research to find out. President Trump's Justice Department was on defense in a Northern Virginia courtroom. A judge is weighing whether to disqualify the U.S. attorney pursuing charges against former FBI Director James Comey and New York Attorney General Letitia James. That prosecutor, Lindsay Halligan, you've probably seen the images of her going around, is a Trump ally with no prosecutorial experience. What? Ladies and gentlemen, the prosecutor, the so-called prosecutor that the Trump administration has tapped to handle the James Comey and the Letitia James cases has zero prosecutorial experience. Do you know how many criminal cases she's prosecuted? Zero. What? What are we doing? Judge appears skeptical of DOJ arguments for keeping Lindsay Halligan as prosecutor in James Comey and Letitia James cases. Attorneys for Comey and James argued that Halligan is unlawfully serving as a U.S. attorney, and therefore the indictments against the pair should be thrown out. They expect a decision by Thanksgiving whether or not Halligan will be disqualified. She has no paperwork experience. She has no prosecutorial experience. There are paperwork errors. There's gaps in the transcript. Folks, was this set up to fail? I think you got to ask yourself the question. Now, have a debate. Are the James Comey and Letitia James cases the biggest ones? Have a debate. I would argue those are pretty big. I would argue that those are pretty high tier cases that you need to have some serious prosecutors on, a team even. And you need to make sure that these two crooks go down. And they send somebody that has never prosecuted a case once? Hey, it's game 7 of the World Series. There's 2 outs. The bases are loaded. We're down by a run. I'm going to send the bat boy up to hit. Hey, bat boy. Hey, bat boy, you ever played baseball? Well, I wear the uniform. I'm on the team. Have you ever tried to hit Major League pitching? No, I've never stepped into the box in a Major League Baseball game. You're up, son. Game 7, World Series, bases loaded, bottom of the 9th, 2 outs, down by a run. You're up, son. Folks, is this a joke? Is this set up to fail? Now, let's say they don't disqualify her. Let's say she gets to prosecute this case. She has never prosecuted a case before, and she's going up against Comey and James that are going to have the entire Democrat Party apparatus backing them? Is this intentional sabotage? What in the hell is this? And I mean, really, if you look at this, all right. I'm cheering on Lindsey Halligan. We need you to come through. Maybe the Bat Boy can hit a grand slam in Game 7 of the World Series. All right, maybe the Bat Boy can be the hero with never even hitting a major league pitcher ever before in his life. Maybe the Bat Boy can be the hero. All right, we're cheering for you if you can even do it. If they even let you do it. Oh my God! I mean, it's almost like a bailout. It's almost like, do you hope the judge rejects her? But then they might say the whole case is thrown out. What a disaster. But look at how good they are at propaganda now. Look at how good they are. And I guess this comes natural for Trump maybe to an extent, because I don't even know how deeply he thinks about this. But it's like, send in Halligan, dollar up, dress her up like she's in a TV, a TV drama, a lawyer, legal TV drama, doll her up, put a bunch of makeup on her, have her walk around like she's on the catwalk. And then nobody will even look into her background and the fact that she doesn't even belong anywhere near this case. They'll just take pictures of her and her hair flopping around and say, "Oh, look, Lindsey Halligan. Oh, wow." And just have the tabloids print up her picture and it's, "Oh, wow, glamorous. Yeah." That's unreal. That is unreal. I don't know how I wrap my head around that. Arizona governor facing racketeering probe runs from the media. The investigation follows reports that Sunshine Residential Homes, a group home operator, donated a large sum to Hobbs' inauguration and the Democrat Party shortly before receiving a significant rate increase for its services. Oh, yes, I believe that's what they call pay for play. Indeed, it is. The Arizona Attorney General's office, led by Chris Mays, who's a Democrat, is investigating allegations of a pay-to-play scheme involving Governor Katie Hobbs, a Democrat, an inauguration fund, and the Arizona Democrat Party. Well, a Democrat investigating a Democrat. How do you think that one's going to go? Anybody want to place bets? Anybody want to place a bet on how the Democrat investigating the Democrat for Democrat Party corruption is going to go? Place your bets. Oh, you're paying juice. You're paying juice on that. I don't want to get too much into this one because it's really a lot of propaganda, but I do just want to do this. So Matt Gaetz is back in the news over this allegation of this 17-year-old girl. Now, this is the same allegation that they brought up against him to try to stop him from becoming attorney general, and it worked. Now, I don't know if they're still doing it because his show on One American Newsnet is becoming so popular. And he's really turned into a foreign policy wonk. and he's hammering against the bad foreign policy and foreign influence, that they decide they're just going to bring this back up again. But I just want to ask you this. You know, the whole thing here is about this 17-year-old girl that was allegedly, basically a prostitute, I guess, a hooker. That's how they're kind of deeming this. And I just want to say, why do they never mention the man who's sitting in jail who supposedly introduced Gates to this girl? I believe his name is Joel Greenberg, I think, and he's sitting in a jail right now. I believe that is the man that introduced the two. And so I'm just curious, in all of these stories that I see going viral, why they never bring up who introduced the two and why. I'm just curious. Because they love mentioning Matt Gaetz, but was there another party involved that introduced them? Was there something else going on there? And boy, you should read the replies to this stuff. Nobody really seems to be buying it. So, yeah. Yeah, this is what they do. And this is why people shy away from the foreign policy discussions. Here's another one that's blowing up. This could be crazy, folks. Mangione defense team accuses police of fabricating mother's quote, implicating him in CEO murder case. Defense demands prosecutors clarify whether widely reported statement from NYPD briefing was real. The Mangione defense team is demanding prosecutors clarify whether his mother actually told police the assassination of the United Healthcare CEO, Brian Thompson, was something she could see him doing, or if law enforcement fabricated the widely reported quote and, in the defense team's view, made a highly prejudicial false statement. Folks, if they nail the prosecutors on that, this whole case could fall apart. That's how bad this could be. That's how bad this could be. Think O.J. Simpson getting off level of bad. Literally. That was the big reason. When the police get caught fabricating evidence, when evidence gets caught being fabricated or prosecutors get caught lying, folks, it's done. It's done. It's done. This is crazy. This is crazy. Imagine that case going bad. Let's go to the geopolitical news here. This is following up on yesterday's reporting from the corruption in Ukraine. Corruption probe close to Zelensky stokes EU unease over Ukraine aid. Oh, yeah. You're starting to realize that was a big, giant money laundering operation, huh? Finally figured that deal out. Ukraine's prime minister announces plans to audit public companies. Corruption is unacceptable. As it happened, they're going to cover it up. Yulia Severidenko says government will conduct a major audit of Innogotam and other state-owned firms in bid to fight corruption allegations. I wonder if these were the places they were laundering the money through. Oh, corruption is unacceptable, says Ukraine Prime Minister. Really? When was the last time you had an election? Oh, that's right. Your dictator, Zelensky, canceled them. Yeah, tell me more about corruption. They'll bury this thing. They're in the process of covering it up right now. But the people in Europe are seeing it and they're upset. And so now all of a sudden the EU countries, the NATO countries are going to have it's going to be a little more of a struggle session. I'm sure they'll still launder the money through Ukraine, but it's going to be more of a struggle session now. I don't see them stopping the support for Ukraine. EU renews demand that Ukraine crack down on corruption in wake of major energy scandal. So basically, here's what you have. The people of America, they don't support the foreign aid to Ukraine. The people of Europe, they don't support the foreign aid to Ukraine. But the deep state intelligence operations, they need the aid to continue through Ukraine. Now, the results of the war between Ukraine and Russia, they may care about, but they care about more is laundering that money and laundering those weapons. That's the main thrust of this. Ukraine could have never won the war. They were never going to win the war. They knew that all along. So the results of the war, they might be totally indifferent to. They might have some care. They might have some interest, but no. The real interest is laundering the money, laundering the weapons. But what are you going to do now that there's almost no public support for this war anymore? So they're going to take the Russians' money. Yeah. EU finance ministers agree using frozen Russian assets most effective way to fund Ukraine. So they're just going to steal money from Russians. They're going to steal assets from Russians, and that's how they're going to fund the war now because their people don't support it anymore. Nice. Very nice. And then I guess you have a similar situation in America with the Middle East foreign policy and the wars that we fund over there. Very unpopular, very low approval rating foreign policy. And you may remember, again, I'm going to make a claim. I don't know, but I think I was proven wrong yesterday. Fuentes said America only as far as the record is concerned. It looks like Fuentes said America only before Schroyer did. We back-checked the records. It looks like I was number 2. I think I was the first, though, to say that support for Israel or fighting anti-Semitism, whatever, that box, that virtue signaling social justice warrior box, that's Black Lives Matter for conservatives. That's Black Lives Matter for right-wingers. I was the first to say that. Well, look who's saying it now. Old Cernovich. It's not enough to not be racist. You must be anti-racist. Of course, that's the woke left. So the woke right, it's not enough to be pro-Israel. You must be against anyone who disagrees about Israel. You can't even talk to them. This is BLM 2.0, the woke right. Now, I went back and I saw this from February. I've always said Israel is BLM for the right. Now they're open about it. So I've been saying that for years. I've been saying that Israel is BLM for the right. Now it's starting to catch on. Hey, thank you, Cernovich. Thank you. I'm glad to see you agree. How many followers does he? He's got to have 1 million. Yeah, 1.4 million putting that out. Boom. Rocket. Oh, we got some Maha news here. Yikes. Judge says he'll approve opioid settlement with OxyContin maker Purdue and Sackler family. So again, a drug dealer in America, Trump pardons them. The drug dealers, the big pharma companies, they cut deals. Drug dealers on a boat in the Gulf of America, blow them to pieces. If logic can't be applied universally, it's not logic, it's propaganda. Now, Susie Wiles has been under immense attack lately. So RFK Jr. comes out in her defense today. The Maha movement has no better friend in Washington than Susie Wiles. Well, why is that? That doesn't even make sense. Who has supported every effort to end the chronic disease epidemic and restore health freedom to every American. A small number of chaos agents are now targeting Susie out of ignorance or malice. Let's focus on our extraordinary achievements to date and the monumental work that still needs to be done. I refuse to be distracted. Let's build our coalition instead of splintering it. Well, here's the problem. Let's start with the whole Susie Wiles thing. Why is Susie Wiles even involved in Maha? Why are you telling me that Susie Wiles supports it? What role does she even have in this? She shouldn't even be in the conversation. What happened to all the people that we brought in originally with Maha? Are they all gone now too? Vani Hari, the rest of them, are they all gone? You know, I kind of dropped the ball on this a little bit. Maybe I should re-pick it up. I can find out. I can find out right now whether Maha is dead or not. I can get inside sources right now to find out whether Maha is still going on or not. Now, again, Susie Wiles shouldn't even have any role in this. So we shouldn't even be addressing Susie Wiles. So just the fact that we're talking about her and he's propping her up, I don't like this at all. Okay, but moving on. Let's focus on the extraordinary achievements. There have been some good achievements. I don't know about extraordinary. There have been good achievements. Monumental work still needs to be done. True. But Big Pharma is winning. Big Pharma is winning. Now, there have been changes in the free market. You may have been seeing some of this, changes in the free market happening. These are positive outcomes. PepsiCo just released Simply Naked Doritos and Cheetos made without dyes or artificial flavors, resulting in colorless chips that retain their taste using natural ingredients. Do you think these are on store shelves yet? I wonder if I could go find some of these, because I'm thinking about and there's never enough time, right? But these ideas cut ahead. It's like, did you see this stuff? Because I don't even think I could bring myself to eat this stuff anymore. Have you seen, it's like, do I want to start eating stuff and being like, oh, is this good? Is this bad? Like, for example, I would never eat this is the problem, but it almost like I would try it for a video and then maybe have my stomach pumped. Have you seen these Baja Blast, fruit pies or something that Taco Bell is serving? Have you seen these? I almost want to go buy one and just see how disgusting it is. Now, look, I'm not acting like I'm holier than thou. I used to eat Taco Bell when I was a broke college student. I used to eat Taco Bell in high school when I was a kid. Okay, I ate Taco Bell. And the Baja Blast was a good drink. All right. All right. We all liked some Taco Bell back in the day. I don't know the last time I ate Taco Bell. Literally, I have no idea. Probably decades. Would you think it's funny? Would you like me to do weird food review? Like weird food reviews. Like I'll go out and eat the Baja Blast pie from Taco Bell. Gross. I'm going to have a doctor standing by with a stomach pump, ingesting whatever that is. Like, did you see that video? These Christmas cookies. I guess there's these popular Christmas cookies. They come in a tin and they're all over store shelves in America. People love them. These Christmas cookies, the tins that they come in. Well, they allegedly, there's this video going around that shows how they're made. And it's like the most street food India preparation for these cookies that apparently everybody eats. I don't know. Maybe I've eaten them. I don't know. But it blew up on social media. And people are like, wow, I'm never eating these cookies again. Like, oh my gosh, these are every family Christmas. I've been eating these for years, whatever. And then allegedly they're coming from street vendors in India. They're literally on the streets, sweating and bare hands, bare feet. It's like, what the hell? Should I go eat an India cookie? I actually would try this though. I would try the naked Doritos and Cheetos. I would. I do like, I like potato chips. I like French fries. I don't like the ingredients in them, so I don't eat them anymore. I never eat potato chips anymore. I never eat French fries anymore just because I don't like the ingredients. I'll have French fries a couple times a year with a cheeseburger. But if I'm going to cook potatoes, I do them at home. I would try these, though. Should I do weird food reviews? Would you watch weird food reviews? Would you eat a naked Doritos, a naked Cheetos? I think I would, actually, with that. Hey, Steak and Shake. Leading the charge. Quality alert from Steak and Shake. We are changing our milk and chocolate milk to A2 starting December 1. Why A2 milk? Easier on digestion. May help some avoid discomfort. From cows that only produce A2 type protein. Cows that are never treated with growth hormone or RBST. We continue on our journey to improve quality. Steak and Shake. The all-American dining experience. Yeah. And they're using beef tallow now, too. They're trying to move everything to beef tallow. They're trying to take all the seed oils out of the process. You know, Steak and Shake left Austin like 5 or so years ago. It left Austin, maybe even after the pandemic. I don't remember. There was one Steak and Shake in Austin that left. You know, I was going to move. I was going to move, but the market is so bad here in Austin. I would have taken a huge hit on my house. I couldn't even get approved for a loan because I'm technically unemployed or self-employed now. So since I've never paid myself, I'm actually technically unemployed. So I was going to buy a new house and build a big new studio. Instead, I just renovated and updated this studio because I'm not going to be able to sell my house right now. You can't even sell your house in Austin. And then I couldn't even get approved for a loan to buy a house because I was unemployed. So maybe, can I just buy a Steak and Shake? Can I just franchise a Steak and Shake instead of buying a house? I'll just live here forever. The housing market is so bad. I'll just live here forever. We'll just go out of this garage studio forever. I'm kidding. It's not a garage. People think it's a garage because of the soundproofing behind me. I'm not in a garage. I'm in a bedroom or a studio in my house. Maybe I'll just forgo the bigger studio, forgo the new house, getting out of Austin. And I'll just bring a Steak and Shake to Austin. Can we get a team of investors on that? You guys want to join me? So let me give an update on this. Let me give an update quickly on this. Let me pull this up. I just got an update in my texts, so I want to bring this up. All right, so earlier today, I'm looking real nice here, by the way. It's fresh after the gym. The hair is nice and combed and everything else. And I was talking about Tina Peters and Dexter Taylor. All right, so I shared this video on X. So let me tell you what happened. I've been meaning to write them, and it's just been slipping through the cracks. And I've been meaning to write Tina Peters and Dexter Taylor. And then there was a story in the news about Tina Peters' health deteriorating that was really sad. And I thought it kind of reminded me like, all right, I got to figure this out. I got to write Tina. And then I remembered Dexter Taylor too. And I was like, all right, we're going to write Dexter Taylor too. These are political prisoners. And I feel like they've kind of been forgotten, and it breaks my heart a little bit. So it kind of reminded me, I got to write them. So I'm trying to find the address to write them. Folks, it took me like hours. It took me hours to find the address to write them. And it was really sad because I'm like, how do we not have a support network for these people? How is there no support network for Tina Peters? The Colorado GOP? Like nothing? Nothing? How is there no support network, support team for Tina Peters that I can get the address to write her a letter in 30 seconds? Same with Dexter Taylor. This is a political prisoner. Where is the NRA? Where are the Gun Owners Association of America? Where are all the big hosts on this? How can I not get Dexter Taylor's address to write him a letter right now? It took me hours. And just before I got on air, I was still trying to figure it out. And I was down to basically, I had 4 addresses. I had 2 for Tina and 2 for Dexter, and I still couldn't get it confirmed. And I'm sitting here, and it was like part of me felt like, wow, I'm really blessed that I had a network and a support team that made sure people knew how to reach me. If you wanted to get Owen Schroyer's address to write him a letter, you could get it in 30 seconds. And if you asked online, can I get it? People would give it to you in 30 seconds. It took me hours to get Tina Peters and Dexter Taylor's information, and I still couldn't even boil it down to the right one. Now, I think I finally do. I just got a message from Tina Peters' family, and I just got a message from Dexter Taylor's family. So I think I finally have the right addresses. But my God, where are our support teams for our fighters? Where are our support teams for our January 6th defendants? It's like, this is it, man. This is why Republicans suck. This is why Republicans suck. I'll put out their addresses on X. I think I've got them confirmed now. I'm going to write them a letter. I suggest you do too. They need to know we haven't forgotten about them. And I was going to shoot a separate video on this later, and I probably still will for X, but I'll just say this right now. This is why Republicans suck. Their biggest fighters get the least attention. It's like if I was some fake blonde, fake boobed bimbo, I could get on Fox News like that. Like that. If I had the right necklace on and I had the right, things happening, I get on Fox News like that. But, you actually take action. You actually hit the streets. You actually stand up to the crooks. You actually go to prison. You actually get sued. All of that. They're not interested in you. Nah. Oh, but you're some blonde bimbo with a nice rack and a nice necklace. Oh, what can we do for you? What have you ever done? Well, I like to talk. Beautiful. Come on down. What are you an expert in? Well, nothing really. Even better. We'll tell you what to say. Cool. And I'm watching what's happening on the right. And this was going to be the video I was going to shoot later. And I'll just kind of quickly do this right now. Because this goes beyond just the Tina Peters, the Dexter Taylor thing, and like the Republicans and just not wanting to help one another. And we used to really be good at that. And now it's just like with this administration, it's just like everything's flatlining. You know, I could never align with the left. I could never align with the left. I could never go left. I just, I don't have anything where I really align with them. We don't share the same values. We don't share the same culture. We don't share the same issues. So it's just like, generally speaking, I could never politically align with the left. I couldn't do it. There's just nothing for me there. But I can see clearly now, more clear than ever. I can see now why people go left. I can see why people move to the left. I can see why people want nothing to do with right-wing politics, nothing to do with Republicans. I can see it now. I get it now. Again, I could never do it. I could never politically align with the left just because there's nothing for me there. But I could see why people that might not be passionate about politics or, maybe change their mind on issues or just kind of go where the wind blows. I can understand why people go left. I can understand why people go to liberalism. I get it now. What we have seen on display from the American right, really more specifically in the last 2 months, I would say, but just in the last couple weeks, what we've seen on display from the American right is so disgusting and so despicable and so abhorrent. I totally get it. I totally get wanting nothing to do with these freaks. I totally get it. And imagine how worse it is. Now, for somebody like me, whatever. I've got a strong jaw. It doesn't bother me. I knew the world I was getting into. But, not everybody's like me. And not everybody made the conscious decision that this was the life that they were going to choose. So I can get it. You go into right-wing politics, kind of innocent, bushy-tailed, you align with the issues. And then you find out real quick it's just as much of a cult as the left. And maybe worse. Maybe even worse. Because at least on the left, they'll tolerate you. At least on the left, you can go over there and they'll tolerate you. And they won't try to destroy your lives over a policy disagreement. They won't try to dox you. They won't try to ruin your career. They won't slander you and libel you and smear you and sue you. That doesn't happen in the left. They tolerate each other. They look out for one another. Not on the right. It's a blood sport over here. You disagree with these psychos. You disagree with these freaks on the right, and they try to destroy your life. And every once in a while, I decide to return fire on X. I mostly don't like doing it. It's just not even worth it. Honestly, it's not. These people will they'll try to have you killed, folks. They will. They'll try to have you killed. So I just mostly ignore it. Every once in a while, I'll strike back and engage. But I get it now. I get it. I see why people have no interest in being involved in right-wing politics when they see stuff like this on display. I have, of my more than a decade of covering politics and being involved in politics, I have never seen so much hate as I'm seeing now from the right. I've never even seen this much from the left. That's my perspective. And it's funny when I see all these X accounts that are attacking me. I mean, God forbid I be critical of Trump, right? I mean, God forbid you say anything negative about their Lord and Savior, Donald Trump. God forbid you say anything negative about their God, Donald Trump. God forbid you say anything about their cult leader, Donald Trump. And they all come for you like foaming at the mouth zombies, which is basically what they are. And I go and I look into a lot of these accounts attacking me. And you know what remains consistent? You know what happens almost every single time when I go and I look at these accounts that are attacking me? None of them had an X account before 2021. Not a single one. And so part of me just kind of sits back and says, oh, okay, well, good luck. Good luck. You weren't there in 2015 and 2016 and 2017. You got no idea. You got no idea. Oh, you weren't there for the Stop the Steal in 2020? Oh, you weren't there for January 6th and the prosecutions in 2021? Oh, okay. You have no idea. No idea. So, okay, all right, attack me, whatever. That's fine. Good luck. Good luck. Let's see what happens when they come for you. Let's see what happens when they dox you. Let's see what happens when they attack you. Let's see what happens when they sue you. Let's see what happens when they censor you. Let's see what happens when they indict you. Let's see what happens when they send you to prison. Let's see if you even make it that far. Let's see if you even make it one step in that direction. And then let's see who stands up and fights for you. Let's see. Maybe we'll be there. I don't know. You want us dead. Maybe we'll still be there for you. Maybe not. I don't know. But you're pushing out all the fighters. You're pushing out all the people that have all the experience to actually deal with this stuff. And you're going into it and you weren't even there for the first Trump run. And you weren't even there for the Stop the Steal. And now you're going to come after the fighters that got you here. And you don't even know it. Shameful. Well, I'm going to post those addresses. I think I've got them secured now. This developed while I was live. So I'm going to post the addresses. I'm going to send a letter to Tina Peters and Dexter Taylor to let them know we haven't forgotten about them. I'll post those on X. America's Rabbi. Who do you think they're talking about? Who do you think they're referring to? America's Rabbi. Old Schmully. Oh, see, hold on. Let me refresh this so we can get Schmully on the deal here. We got to get Schmully's mug up here. Give me the Schmully mug. Why won't you give me the Schmully mug? I want the Schmully mug. The New York Post keeps giving me some other video. All right, fine. America's Rabbi sued for allegedly failing to pay $710 condo amenity fee for October 7th memorial service. Disgusting, abusive, anti-Semitic, Israel-hating bill. Yeah, don't you see? If you don't let Schmully, if you don't let him get a free condo, then you're anti-Semitic. Oy vey, says the New York Post. Oy vey, Rabbi Schmully, an influential American rabbi and television personality, is that what he is? Has allegedly likened $710 amenity space fees from his luxury Manhattan condominium to the Nazi regime. Now, the self-styled America's Rabbi is being sued by his building in part for allegedly failing to pay rental and cleaning fees for a common room used to hold a memorial service for an Israeli 7th victim. Yeah, well, he should get that for free. He was entitled to that room 3,000 years ago. It's his. The complaint, filed Thursday in a Manhattan Supreme Court by the Board of Managers of 2 Waterline Square, requested a permanent injunction against the rabbi and accused him of a private nuisance, defamation, and breach of contract. Look at these anti-Semites demanding that this rabbi pay his bills. This was promised to him 3,000 years ago. In fact, the whole apartment is actually his. He should get the whole apartment for free. Look at this cheap ass. Look at this cheap ass rabbi. Rabbi Shmuley Botek, whose legal name is Jacob Botek, who sells sex toys with his daughter, purchased a $4.4 million condo. Wow. You and your daughter must be very successful in the sex toy game to purchase a $4.4 million condo in the luxury development, but you won't pay a $710 bill. His wife is also mentioned in the complaint. Yes, well, he should have gotten that for free. You should have donated that to him. That should have been a given. What's wrong with you? What is wrong with you? So now he's got late fees on top of it. Botek, Shmuley, billed $710 for the May event, a $500 rental fee, a $210 cleaning fee. The total fees added to the account amounted to $1,420 and $1,420. $420. They're squeezing him in there. Plus $400 in late fees, so he's approaching $2,000. I don't know, when does it leave small claims court? That seems like a small claims court issue. But now they're saying defamation. Now you're getting bigger. So here's what Shmuley said. I will not be punished for having a few friends over to comfort a Jewish father whose daughter was murdered by Hamas. Who's punishing you? You're paying a bill. Waterline will be in the national news for their attempt to squash memorials for Jews murdered by Hamas, as is happening in other places all around the country, and who are being sued for it. Folks, this is crazy. He goes on. Jews have been long punished not only for living, but for mourning. In medieval Europe, rulers charged Jews exorbitant fees for burials or denied them entirely. Is that like usury? All right, this is just hilarious. He says it's a blatant anti-Semitic assault on his rights as an Israeli-loving Jew. This is crazy. This guy is such a character. I don't see how he wins this except playing the victim. That's what he's doing. Oh, I'm a poor, innocent Jew, so I don't have to pay a bill? What? Does he go to dinner like this? Imagine Rabbi Shmuley takes a bunch of people out to dinner. They put a $1,200 bill in front of him, and he says, how dare you charge Jews for a meal? Wow. Hey, it's a bold move, actually. You know what? I give him credit for trying. I give him credit for trying. He's trying to save a couple bucks. Yeah, he lives in a $4 million condo, but how do you think he got so rich? It's by cutting dimes and nickels. If he doesn't have to pay that $1,000 bill in his $4 million condo, then he's not going to pay it, damn it. And if you're going to make him pay it, he's going to cry victim and anti-Semitism and take your ass to court. And then what a liar he is. He says, oh, they're not letting us mourn. You literally held the event. They're charging you for holding the event. They let you hold the event, and then they sent you the bill, and you're just refusing to pay. Rabbi Buttplug. That's his name. Hey, so Bezos just had another rocket. Remember, this is really weird with Bezos. This is really weird. So this is his new re-entry rocket. This whole thing looks fake. I'm just saying, it just looks fake. All right, I don't know. It looks fake. And this is the third time where Blue Penis or Blue Origin, whatever it's called, this is the third time where they put out these videos that look fake. And then we found out when they did that weird launch and they put all the bimbos on the rocket ship, remember the bimbo ship? And they put the bimbos in space. And then it turned out basically the whole unit was like fake. And they had like some tiny little plastic door that they staged this opening, and then they got caught staging it, and then it was like the whole thing was fake. Remember the bimbo incident? Blue bimbo incident?
We've got our booster landing burn.
And then he put this out. Is any of this even real? Now you have to imagine, where are they getting this tech? They have to get it from, right? Musk is the only one that's doing this. SpaceX is the only one that's doing this. Now, Musk has always been open source. He open sources Block. He's open source Tesla. I think he open source SpaceX too, because he wants everybody to have great stuff. That's why I like Musk. So they had to get the tech from Musk. They had to get the re-entry tech from Musk. And so then they go in here, and Musk has the top comment. He says, "Congratulations."
Booster landing burn.
You think that's sarcastic?
Engine control is good.
You think Musk is being sarcastic?
Touchdown.
I wonder. Speaking of theater, you seen any good movies lately? Need to get back into the movie reviews. I got a feeling this one's going to come out and be good. I got a good feeling about this one. The Odyssey. Matt Damon says filming The Odyssey. Yes, I know Matt Damon is a liberal. Okay, I get it. We're talking about movies. Matt Damon says filming The Odyssey was the best experience of his career. He says, I saw the horse on the beach and I was like, fuck, it's going to be so cool. And you should see some of the other images of it. It looks badass. It's exactly what you want of a summer movie. It should be the most massively entertaining film. It should feel mythic. Now look, Matt Damon, politics, not good. Matt Damon, cinema, really good. I have a feeling this is going to be a good one. And I'm looking at some of these other stories here. It's getting a lot of hype. Christopher Nolan hypes up The Odyssey as an action epic that has never been done before. Never been done before. What are we talking about? Never been done before. Listen to this. Now, you may recall they came out with a movie a couple years ago. I think it was 1918, right? And it was a single-shot film of a World War story. Single shot where a guy has to take a message to a different camp, and it's an epic movie. I think it won a bunch of awards. Just epic. Just incredible what they were able to do with that. Remarkable, truly. And it sounds like they're doing something similar with this. Not the same editing or shooting style, but like they're trying to do something that's never been done. Look at this. Epic movie. Christopher Nolan uses 2 million feet of film. 2 million feet of film for adaptation of The Odyssey. Now, that's, the classic book. It's like one of the biggest books. The director has revealed suitably grand scale of his forthcoming Homeric adventure, which was shot with IMAX cameras and stars Matt Damon as Odysseus. So they're filming this thing on the beach. They're filming this thing on the ocean. And they're like, they really went all out for this deal. They really went all out for this deal. You also have Tom Holland as Odysseus's son. This movie will come out July 2026. All right, so you got a summer movie for next year to look forward to. And then you got a Christmas movie for next year to look forward to. And if you're going to Saudi Arabia anytime soon, you can go check out Mr. Beast's new theme park. YouTuber Mr. Beast just opened up his theme park, Beastland, in Saudi Arabia, with thousands of people in line to get in. General admission, you just get to walk around, no rides, $7. I've never heard of that before, but okay. You can get a beast mode entry, which you can try some challenges and take 3 rides for $25. Or you can get the beast mode plus package for $66. Oh, yes, $66. Come on. The whole thing with Mr. Beast is weird, isn't it? And I've never really cared. I've never talked about him. I've never covered him. And who knows? Who knows if he's good, bad, whatever. I don't know. He had that weird fallout with, I guess he had a friend that became trans or something. The whole thing with Mr. Beast is weird to me. And there's no doubt the content that he makes on YouTube is popular and unique and original. But man, did this guy make more money on YouTube than anybody else? That's incredible how he made that much money just from YouTube. And now he has a theme park in Saudi Arabia. And then there's all those other stories about his water sites that were weird. I don't know. There's a bunch of weird stuff. The whole thing is weird to me. The fact you can make that much money on YouTube. By the way, I guess prior to Mr. Beast, the number one earner on YouTube would have been PewDiePie. And now PewDiePie, he's retired. He's got a kid and a wife, and he's just retiring, living the family life. He does like interior design and coding in his free time. That guy won. He's 33 years old, retired, kid and a wife, and does like interior design and coding in his free time in Europe for fun. No drama, no scandals. All right, who you got this weekend? What do you got this weekend? You got football. I'm going with Seattle. I don't even know who they're playing, but just for this alone, I think I want to go with the Hawks. Just for Sam Darnold alone. He says, I don't care, Seattle Seahawks starting quarterback Sam Darnold, I don't care if the whole world calls me hateful. Forcing us to wear an LGBT armband is no different than turning football into a political circus. I play for the Seattle Seahawks, not a movement. Sam Darnold. I got Sam Darnold for 300. Give me some numbers on Sam Darnold. Let me get some Sam Darnold prop bets. By the way, they're freaking out. Folks, there's huge investigations, huge scandals going down in these leagues because of these bets, these rigged bets. And it's mostly these prop bets because these are the easiest one to rig. There's the prop bets. So speaking of prop bets, I like this. Let's see here. Sam Darnold, against the Rams. Sam Darnold is in Los Angeles against the Rams this weekend. He's got over under 251 passing, over under 1.5 pass TDs, over under 0.5 interceptions, 3.5 rush yards. I just want to go over everything for Sam right now. I want to go over everything for Sam Darnold right now. Just because he said that. Just because I want him to ride that momentum. Otherwise, I wouldn't like any of these bets against the Rams, quite frankly. I wouldn't like any of these numbers against the Rams. But just because he came out and stood for something, just because he came out and stood for something, which is so rare in the NFL, not the propaganda they're forced to engage in. No, standing against the propaganda, Sam Darnold. Just for that alone, I want to say over everything. Just for that alone for Sam Darnold. All right, one more before we sign off. So in Major League Baseball, you have Ohtani, who I think is a gambler and a cheater, but they have to let him play. And then you have Aaron Judge. They've won back-to-back MVP awards in their respective leagues. So Ohtani, 2 straight National League MVPs. Aaron Judge, 2 straight American League MVPs. Do you know why this is happening, folks? The talent in baseball is so bad now. It's bad. It's bad. It's crazy. I don't really watch anymore. But it's like every time if there's a game on, I pop it on or whatever, or like I just want to watch a Cardinal game for fun on like a Sunday or something. These guys, none of them even hit. None of them even hit for like 250. It's really weird. So yeah, I guess Ohtani and Judge are going to win the next 10 MVP awards because everybody else sucks. Because everybody else sucks, huh? Is that where we're at now? Appears to be that way. So way to go, baseball. Way to go. All right, let me give you one more, actually. I don't know why. I can't stop thinking about this image. I'll pull up the whole thing for you for some context. So there was a story in the news that I was looking into about this building right here. I forget what it's called in New York City. If you're a New York City audience, you know this building. Probably get some local news, but it's like the thinnest skyscraper, I believe, in the world. I believe this is the thinnest skyscraper in the world. And they've had all kinds of engineering problems. Like you see these cuts in the building here. They had to cut wind tunnels in the building because there was so much wind damage and there was so much sway that it was causing foundational damage. So the whole thing has been like kind of just a disaster. And they've had all kinds of electrical problems, foundation problems, whatever. It's too tall and too skinny. So whatever. I'm looking into this for some reason. And I end up finding this image. Now, there's actually, I think there's a color image of this somewhere that I've seen. I don't know why. I can't get this image out of my head. Can you imagine this? Can you imagine New York City? What is this, like 1950? And there's the Empire State Building, the Art Greco building, just towering over the entire civilization, looking like something straight out of a science fiction novel. Can you imagine seeing that? How cool is that? Now you can barely even see the Empire State Building. Now you have to like be in the right place to even see it. It's surrounded by a bunch of other towers. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine seeing that? I don't know why, but I think that's really cool. I think that's really punk. I think that's really cool. I don't know why. Just for whatever reason, that image just has been sticking in my head. So now it's in your head too. How do you like me now? Now you get to see it too. All right, we're done for the week. That's it. You had enough of me yet? Have you had enough of me yet? Because we're done for the week. But we'll be back Monday. Ask the Doctor is going to be on Wednesday next week. Wednesday morning next week, we have Ask the Doctor. We are going to be posting some original content on X this weekend. Clips on YouTube, full shows on Rumble. And if you go to X, you can get the audio versions on Apple, iTunes, and Spotify. Thanks to our sponsors for today. Remember to get your apparel at owenschroyer.store. God bless, Godspeed, and have a great weekend.
From Seneca to Cahoga Falls, I said I ain't always go high.